This week on DRC, we talk about more new cards that have been released recently. And fair warning, the later half of the show is a crew rant session. We go rant crazy. Some of the topics are not Hearthstone related, so you can skip over that if you want. But if you want to be part of the mayhem, stick around at the end. All that and more, DRC starts right now.
You're listening to the Death Rattle Crew, a Hearthstone podcast. Let's do it live!
And DRC, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Death Rattle Crew, a Hearthstone podcast. This is episode 62. I am one of your hosts, Mike Tag2Her, and joined by Mr. Tom Just Soup Jessup.
Hello.
And Mr. Bradford Lee.
Hello.
Don't forget you can follow us at www.deathrattlecrew.com. You can find us on your podcast catcher of choice, be it iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, you name it. You'll find us. If you don't find our name, then tell us where you want us to name it and we'll put it there. And all those things. You can write into us at mail@deathrattlecrew.com. Bradford Lee, where can people find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Bradford Lee.
Fantastic. The week. It's been a short one for me. I'm gonna go first.
Go change it up.
Yeah, I don't have anything to talk about. That's that's kind of it. I've been a boring week. So, Tom, what have you been up to?
No, go. Brad goes first.
Oh, okay. All right. No. So, little spoiler, and I'll have said it at the top of the show. Obviously, this is going to be a rage cast. It's going to be at the end. So if you don't want to be part of the Rage Fest, don't worry. You'll get your Hearthstone-ness at the beginning, and we'll get the Rage-ness at the end.
Yeah,
so don't.
Wrong, you go somewhere else.
Yeah. So Tom, don't spoil anything.
Okay.
But Bradford Lee, what's going on?
Same as it ever was. Okay, wait. Not same as it ever was. For the first time ever.
Oh.
I don't have mold in my house anymore, so.
Mold less. Nice.
Mold less, exactly.
Pog champ.
Total pog champ. I'm so excited about that. It's been a week and a half now of battling this issue, and I still don't even have everything moved back into my house, or not my house, my room. Like I've got stuff that's like still swoon out, that's like got cleaned and stuff. I have like this big pile of stuff that still needs to be thrown away and sorted through, and but other than that, 75 to 80% of the problem has been solved. I've probably spent 45 to 50 hours on this project. Stupid.
Wow.
It was a full-time job last week. So yeah, I'm happy to be alive and not moldy.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
But the good part about this, there is one good thing that happened from this. I'm going to be making a moldy Brad emote. So if we learned anything from this, it's that we get more dank memes. So yeah, that's
nice.
So good.
All right, Tom. Without spoiling anything, contain yourself.
It was pretty great. I started really getting into Tempo Mage a lot more recently and have really enjoyed it. I don't think it's the best deck, but it's certainly fun. Granted, I've been playing at a relatively lower level, but I have been around a 75% win rate with this deck, and that's a really big accomplishment. Okay. Accomplishment. It's good things that happen when you make beer.
But it takes a long time, right?
Right.
Okay,
right. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
It's a process.
Okay.
Anyways, but yeah, I was really happy because I was really shit at Hearthstone for a little bit ago, and now I'm just shit at Hearthstone. So that's good. I'm rank 14 right now, and it's the 6th. I'm all right. And I've got a lot of schoolwork and shit to get into, so we'll be good. We'll be good soon.
Okay.
Hopefully.
I do have something to talk about. For those of you playing at home, listeners, fellow crew members. I'm upset with my fellow show hosts. I was asking for deck ideas, and one of these jerks said, "Hey, why don't you play Freeze Warrior?" Or, "Hey, why don't you play Control Hunter?" I was having a bad Hearthstone day this weekend.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. So you guys respect me. The hosts don't respect me. There's no respect. What?
No, we love you. I want to get a new Twitch emote now. The Undercity Huckster, just like you're welcome. Like it's gonna be capital YAH, capital WELCOME.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I'm on it, Tom.
All right, good. Brad's on this case. Brad, you do a good job making these emotes, I gotta say, too.
Dude, that's like my skill. Maybe I should stop streaming and just become an emote creator.
I'm a professional emote creator.
Because I'm sure that there are some real shit emotes out there. Trust me, they're all over Better Twitch TV, and even just Twitch in general. There's some bad ones, but like, oh my god, they're so easy. I figure I've got it down to a science. They're so easy for me to make now. I've got it down to the point where I can spew them out at 30 minutes a pace. You know, like 30 minutes, we got a dank meme. Yeah. So
this is a dank factory.
I'm almost a dank meme factory. Yeah, I'm part of the dank meme assembly line these days.
You heard it. DRC confirmed. Bradford Lee, dank meme factory.
Yep. Who needs a job at Chipotle? I've got other assembly lines to work on. You can take your job and shove it up your ass, Ford. I don't need your assembly line.
All right. And with that. Wait. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah.
You said you wanted a deck to play. I've got a real deck for you.
Okay. All right.
I finally finished it last night on stream.
Okay.
It is an interaction between Poison Seeds and Explosive Sheep. So
oh my God.
I don't know if anyone knows how this works, but they changed how it works.
Okay.
It used to be that Poison Seeds and Explosive Sheep that interaction didn't work that way. But now if you play Explosive Sheep and then play Poison Seeds, the Poison Seeds will turn everything into a 2/2, then the Explosive Sheep trigger will go off, so it's actually a board wipe for 6 mana.
Oh.
Clunky, 2 mana. It's kind of like Arcana, Soul Priest, and Circle of Healing.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
But a little bit more
except you get stuff.
Except it's a legit kill. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's an actual kill.
Okay.
Exactly. It's a legit kill. It's a board wipe for sure.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily kill Piloted Shredder because sometimes they'll get a 2/3 and then they're left with a 2/1 or whatever. But for the most part, it's just like, screw you, the board's going away. And it even can just kill a Piloted Shredder is one of the strong. He kills Haunted Reaper. Like, it says no to a lot of Death Rattle.
That's pretty good.
Pretty strong. So I've been building this, I call it Poison Druid, which sounds exactly like Freeze Mage and like Pirate Rogue and so like maybe not Pirate Rogue, Pirate Priest and like decks that like we're just trolling you with, but it's like legitimately a decent deck in my opinion.
Okay.
And basically I've been messing with different iterations of it, and the best iteration I've come up with is kind of like a pseudo control build that's running Kel'Thuzad and Taunt. It's kind of like the Taunt Druid plan, but it has like it has a lot of card draw. It has Blood Mage Thalnos to like allow it to dig in the matchups where it wants to be on an Elise plan. So the way it wins against like Priest is with Elise Starseeker. And the way that it wins against, like, I don't know, aggro is it puts up 4 Ancient of Wars. But the best thing, the thing that broke it was I cut down to 1 Poison Seeds because the second one was like not quite good enough. But like the first Explosive Sheep is still good because you can cast Wrath, your removal spell or whatever, on your own Explosive Sheep.
Yeah.
So for 4 mana, it's effectively the same thing that Mage does. Plus you can still get a draw card off the Wrath. So like. It works relatively well. So you only have to save one of your Explosive Sheep if you have both in your hand, or the Poison Seeds. But it's only a 1 of Poison Seeds now because instead I put Faceless Manipulator in it, which has been an absolute all-star because sometimes you'll be like, all right, turn 5, Innervate Ancient of War, go. And then they're like, oh, he's got a 5/10 with Taunt. And it's like, all right, you did like a couple points of damage to it, whatever. Now it's like a 5/7. And then next turn it's like Faceless Manipulator, make another Ancient of War. And it just stonewalls the board. Like, people cannot get through 2 5/10s. And in the matchups where it's like, I need some sort of burst or I need like a charge effect, it doesn't give you a lot of burst, but you have Druid of the Claw plus Faceless Manipulator, which gives you 8 points of damage. which the deck has like no burst otherwise. So it just gives the deck a lot of versatility and matches where it wants it. And it just, I don't know. I've been messing around with a Poison Seeds deck it's been awesome. I went on a 17-2 streak from rank 10 up to the top of rank 7.
Nice. Okay.
Or maybe it wasn't even rank 10. It must have been rank 11. Like a rank 11 up to like top of rank 7.
Okay.
I kicked butt with it last night.
Anyway,
okay. You should play that deck.
Yeah. Send me that deck list later. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Chat says Secret Priest wins 100 times out of 100.
Yeah.
And
Plus the entire deck is
People's
immune to
Champ.
The People's Champ.
All right. With that, we'll be right
squishy.
back with Metadonomy. DRC would like to thank Brainiacs for their support of this podcast. If you have a tech idea for improving your business's workflow, Brainiacs can provide a turnkey solution to specifically fit your needs. You can contact them at www.brainiux.com. IUX. And welcome back. This is Meta-Anatomy, your one weekly stop for everything Meta and Hearthstone. I'm Tag2, joined by Just Super Bradford Lee. Guys, we got more cards to talk about. More cards.
We got the cards.
So many cards.
All right, we're
And-
gonna do this real quick.
Yeah.
We're gonna
So-
burst through this.
Yeah, Tom.
Mainly because some of them are just objectively
Yeah,
okay or
yeah.
good. And okay.
Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
We'll start with the first one. Blood of the Ancient One, a 9/9 for 9. It says, if you control 2 of these at the end of your turn, merge them into the Ancient One.
I'll try and start posting these links in chat also, by the way. So
Yeah. All right, so
Okay, look,
go for it, Brad.
yeah, go for
I
it.
just want to talk about this card real quick. Exodia effects are generally considered bad.
Yeah.
Just right off the bat. That's what I say. In Magic, there's the big furry monster, BFG. Is kind of like the same thing. It's 2 cards and it gives you a 99/99. But it costs a shit ton more mana. So like it's expensive, but you have to like, I don't know. It's the same kind of effect. It's just like you only get 2 copies of this card, but you have to assemble Tron. And assembling Tron, like, oh, I know exactly the card in Hearthstone. There's the one that's the mech, Mimron's head.
Tron? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Voltron. But yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Like assembling Mimron's head doesn't really make sense. Like the one that kind of works is Fusion and Solog, because Fusion and Solog's setup cost is really easy. It's just like, just play these cards and eventually you'll get Thaddeus.
Mm.
So
You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. It's a better, Fusion and Stalag are way better. Just because like you can play one and then it's actually a decent body and then it dies and that's fine. And then the next one that dies, it has an insane death rattle. And like on top of that, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter that the first one had no death rattle, but the second one's like threatening of a death rattle is such a big deal.
yeah.
And I think it's a cool card. Like I think it's really cool.
Yes.
And like it makes a 30-30. It makes a fucking Merit Lage, basically, is what happens.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think it'll be like, I think it'll be played like as a try-hard card. I don't think it's good.
It's not really a true try-hard card. It's designed. It feels like to me
It's a
that
Johnny
card's
card.
designed. Yeah, it's a Johnny or like sometimes a Timmy card. Like it's designed for the player who wants to do something that's really crazy and off the top and like do funny things like with it and then be able to post their memes to Reddit. Like it's the dank meme creator, you know. It's this card's designed for the person who wants to day one create the most dank meme they can and be like, I just go my opponent after they Reno Jackson for 30 damage or something. You know, like
DRC
that's what they
confirmed.
want. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's why Blood of the Ancient One's great. Counters Reno. Duh, obviously.
Obviously.
All right.
Okay. So, and then the Ancient One, we'll just go ahead and get to that one. It's a 30/30 for 9. Ridiculous.
Right.
That is pretty
That's what
dumb.
comes off these 2 cards, right?
Yes, correct.
So you play these 2 cards, which also takes 2 turns to set up, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's going to take you 2 turns to set up. Then you get a 30/30. Does it have charge?
No.
It doesn't even have charge. So it takes
Yeah.
3 turns to get this to go.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Here's one thing that protects this is things like what's the Echo of Medivh, right? That's in TGT, right?
No, that's GDG.
No, that's
that's going
rotating.
away. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So duplicate's going away too.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So you're saying like
But-
Shadow Step might be an option. Is Shadow Step going away? I don't think it is. That's a
Shadow
classic
Step.
card.
Yeah, it's
so like
classic
you could
card, yeah.
Shadow Step it back to your hand.
No, Shadow Step doesn't work. It only makes it a 7.
No, Shadow Step's the thing that says return a friendly minion to your hand. It costs 2
Yeah.
less.
Yeah. Makes it a
What
7.
does he cost to cast?
9.
9.
Yeah, so he goes down to 7. Then you just got to find a way to give him charge.
No, I'm talking about like copying Blood of the Ancient Ones and then just like forcing it out, you know?
Oh, you're saying before you get the 30/30, you're
Yeah.
getting like a 9 mana, whatever the hell they are, or 8/8
Because
or
you
whatever.
have to have them
like
on
you're
the
just
board
saying
at
that
the same
like
time. If they,
so you're trying to set up like some crazy like 4 Emperor triggers or and then like have 2 of them out at the same turn or something like. Like you're building a combo deck specifically designed to get as many 30/30s as possible.
Well, I'm saying like I could play Blood of the Ancient One with Duplicate as my secret on board already, and then they kill Blood of the Ancient One, and then I have 2 Blood of the Ancient Ones. So then I have another one in my deck, so it's just redundancy, and they have to keep killing these 9/9s. But at that same point, it's like all you're doing is shoveling out 9/9s. You're not even gaining tempo. You're not getting card advantage. You're not getting anything important. So I think it's just a bad card.
Yeah, and I agree with you though. Redundancy, what you said there, was the only way they make that good.
Yeah,
and even then, we just like you said, Duplicate's gone, Echo of Medivh's gone. Like there's not enough pieces to make it work.
Mm.
And even if there was, it's still bad.
Yeah.
I think if you did this on a smaller scale, like made it a 4-drop or made it a 5-drop, like so that you could do it on the same turn and made it like a 5/5 or something like that, like a 5-drop 5/5, and then the thing that came out was like a 20/20, maybe that would actually warrant more like worth, I think. But
yeah, sure. You might be able to build around that and like spend the whole entire game building to get that 20/20 or something.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun card, a cool idea. I think we'll see cool videos, just like with Voltron. I don't know.
Do you guys see the Hunter OTK? Speaking of cool videos,
with Voltron?
It was Baron Rivendare on board, Bran Bronzebeard, Dr. Boom, and then fill up the board. Then you kill I can't remember how he did it, but he killed his Bran, and then he played Young Pyromancer, and then he played like Tracking, and then Hunter's Mark or something. Or no. He played Feign Death.
Oh.
And then
So it triggers twice.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the bombs trigger twice. So you get 8 bomb triggers
Oh
because
my
Brand
God.
Bronzebeard effect. So you get 8 bomb triggers, and then you get the Young Pyromancer effect, and it kills all your bombs, and that triggers twice. So you get 16 bomb trigger effect.
Jeez.
It's silly. And like it even has a chance to not even kill your opponent. Like it was funny though. The guy was like, "Dude, totally works." Like it was funny.
But at home.
Yeah, that's the kind of card that fits perfectly with that guy.
With that,
Like
Yeah,
this card,
yeah.
this new card is it meant for that person
Right,
who wants to
right.
make that dank meme, like we were talking about.
Because, we'll see the Ancient One in games every now and then. In games. Games. We've got so many games. All right. Anything else on this card? Ancient One, Blood of the Ancient One. Okay. Next one. Hunter spell card. Call of the Wild. Summon. Blah, 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 summon all 3 animal companions. I wish Jeremy was here. I want to hear his opinion on this one.
Yeah.
Jeremy, right in.
I think it's cool, but you have to for a card that big, like that big, you have to have the deck for it to exist first. So you have to have the slot for it. I think it's a similar problem with Ragnaros, the Light Lord. Ragnaros the Light Lord is pretty it's an alright card. That's a pretty damn solid card, but it's why the fuck would you run that over Tyrion? And why the fuck would you run 2 8-drops? So mid-range Hunter as it is not that great of a deck, unfortunately. And there isn't a such thing as Control Hunter, as much as people want to make it a thing. I think this would be great in Control Hunter. I think this would be a great comeback card for decks like for mid-range Hunter. It's you're behind, you top deck this, bah, and then you're automatically back in the game. That's what makes this good.
Yeah.
And then it's also that win more card. But I don't think it's in a deck that caters for that. I don't think it enables mid-range to be good. So like you do have 5 damage out the gate with Hover because you also have
Right.
Ryok, and then you have the protection with a 5/4 taunt. But other than that, I think it's hard to tell. This one, I think
It's hard to tell, yeah. It's one of those cards that seems powerful because we all know Animal Companion's been powerful,
Right.
and you get all. And so like there's no RNG necessarily to design into this card, which is good. And it's what 5, 10, 11, 12. It gives you 12 power on the turn that you play it.
Yeah.
5 of which have charge, 5 of which have taunt,
shit.
and then some pump your creatures. And the hardest one to kill is going to probably be Leok, right?
Mm.
So if the turn afterwards you go like Unleash the Hounds, you're going to have a really strong Unleash the Hounds. So it seems like it has a lot of pretty decent or synergy. And so it gives you 12 power and 4, 8, 9, 10 defense on the turn that it comes out.
Yeah.
So
split
it's
amongst
kind
three
of like
creatures, too.
split amongst 3 creatures. And that's really strong, actually.
Yeah.
Because if it was at 5 power for Huffer, I think that's where it gets to the point where you can say, okay, it's going to probably trade up. You know, like you can trade into something, get something good, and be left with 2 decent minions. So it's kind of like a piece of removal as well as 2 decent minions after that. So I think this card's actually like quite good. It's just, as you said, it's 8 mana. And traditionally, Hunter hasn't been the class where you want to be playing 8 drops.
Yeah.
Like, I maybe a Ragnaros has been played before and been successful, but like, there's not many Hunter decks that top over Dr. Boom. And like, Dr. Boom was only played because Dr. Boom was busted as hell. Like, you played Dr. Boom not because it was necessarily you wanted to. You played it because, well, there was just sometimes you win just because you played that 7 drop. You know, like it's what it did. So I don't know. I feel like this card is strong, and it might see play in like a Reno lock, or like a Reno Hunter list maybe, because you just need another strong threat, as well as the fact that like that kind of list would just need those kind of cards. Because we don't have enough card pool if you don't play something like this. But like if there's like a lock and load or like a control Hunter list that happens to show up, this might be a good card in it. This might be one of the good finishers.
I think it's a solid card. I think it's a good card. It's just we need to get the slot for it. We need a slot for it. And maybe you're right. Traditional mid-range Hunter does not play 8 drops. And it only plays Savannah High Main. Like that's the Savannah High Main,
right.
Dr. 6 and Dr. 7 basically. And like if we make the switch and like playtesting wise, if we figure out it's worth it to run this at 8 mana, then maybe. But I don't know. But that being said, like if you do run this, probably a one of. I don't think you would run this as a 2 of.
Right.
I kind of feel that too.
I like you guys are saying, the body count and all the stats is good. They're all beasts. So if we get true beast hunter, like a true one, that's gonna be. I think this card obviously gets better, but I think it gets substantially better. I like it, and I think it is costed high, but I think it's more than fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
at 9 mana, it's probably overcosted, and at 7 mana, it's probably undercosted. I think they really.
Oh, that would be.
This,
I think so too. Oh, that'd be nasty. 7.
So before we go into that stuff you were talking about later on, Brad, about card design and stuff, I think this is an exception to the rule. This is very good card design, I think. Yeah,
I think this is a really good card design. It meets to the player who wants to be like, I love Beast, it meets multiple psychodynamics.
I know,
but it meets what's that?
I said I know what you mean.
Yeah, it meets multiple people's like desires within the game. It meets the psychographics of multiple players basically, and so being able to, from a design standpoint, to meet the needs of multiple players who have different desires within the game is really strong. And like, so like the competitive player might want to play this. The player who loves Beasts or like loves Hunter, like Jeremy, might want to play this. The player who, it just likes the idea of crazy off the top weird spells that do multiple things, or like goes wide and does weird things like that, and it's kind of fun. That meets their needs as well. So like this is a good design because it doesn't have RNG first off. So like it benefits the player who wants to be competitive, like we said, but it just also helps out the other players who want to be like, oh, this card seems like a lot of fun, and who wants like, I can cast this sweet 8 mana huge thing, like it's bomby, and so it fits the Timmy.
It's gonna be a fun card to play, like
very fun play. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Anything else on that one? Nope. All right.
One more note, real quick.
Go ahead.
Being 8 mana on turn, a thing that makes this card better is on turn 10 you can cast this and use your hero power.
Okay.
Like that's really strong. Like cards that cost 9 mana and 10 mana, you always have to. Well, cards that cost 9 mana effectively cost 10 mana in this game because you don't get your hero power edition unless if you happen to have like a zombie chow or something in hand. You know, like generally you're not getting any value out of that extra piece of mana that you had that turn. The only time that the 9 mana card doesn't cost 10 is on turn 9 specifically, or if you have coin. Like, and those are just still again very niche circumstances. But yeah, basically. This card plus hero power is really strong. So being able to do this in the late game is really strong.
Right. Okay.
Okay, I accidentally posted the wrong link in chat, so we're gonna go to Think from Below, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right, we're gonna next one. Shaman card. Think from Below. A 5/5 for 6. Reads taunt costs 1 less for each totem you've summoned this game.
I think it's solid. If Totem Shaman's a thing.
Oh my god, this card's amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Wait, what?
And it works. It works off of your hero power. It works off of Tuskar Totemic, and it works off of playing cards out of your hand. So I think it's good. I think it's like
great.
if I actually not even saying if Totem Shaman's a thing. I think it's the thing that Totem Shaman needs. Like, you're not going to be playing this on turn 4. Let's dispel this notion right here. I mean, you might. Like, very occasionally, but you're gonna want to be playing this like turn 5 for like 3 mana when you hero power and then play this. I
hear you. Yeah.
Even at its worst, it's probably a 5/5 for 5 because you're casting you're casting a totem golem before turn 6, right? Sure. Or you're casting a flame tongue totem, or you're maybe using your hero power once, So like at the very worst, this is a 5/5 for 5 with taunt.
This is never like there's no fucking way this is ever going to be cast as a 6-drop. There's like I don't even see how you could be fucked so hard into playing cards that are off. Like I don't see how. Like
I don't think you could beat your head against the keyboard and still not get this below 6. Yeah,
Shamans get some love, man.
And I like this card because it's a late-ish game tempo card, if that makes sense. Like you're not playing it like you said. Yeah, you could play it turn 4, but you could also play it turn 8 and play it at cost of 2. Like who doesn't want to play a 5/5 with taunt on for 2 and then play a 6-drop on turn 8?
Trix had a really good question. Does it? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Good. Does it have to be in your hand to get cost reduced? It does not.
Does not, right.
Yeah, just like Sea Giant, or I mean not Sea Giant, Frost Giant would reduce in cost. It does the same effect. Frost Giant reduces if it's in your deck.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Good. Sorry.
No, and that's if it had to be in your hand. That was it. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. If it had to be in your hand, obviously this card's not as good, and I would almost say it's like I personally feel like you want to put 2 of these in your deck, you don't consider this a 6-drop. I would consider this a 4-drop. I'm just gonna call it that.
Pretty much,
and anything past that's better. So
well, here's the thing. I wouldn't entirely call it a 4-drop because it's a 4-drop that you can't always play on turn 4. Like, you can totem golem. You can.
So maybe it's more realistically a 5-drop then.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, think about it. Like totem,
or like a 4.5.
If you're playing totem golem early, you're going to be down on mana, which means you're probably going to be using your hero power anyway. Am I right? No, not so much. I mean, I guess you could be doing board clears if it's an aggro deck, maybe.
Here's one way that you can get it to 4-drop on turn 4. Turn 1, whatever. Turn 2, hero power. Turn 3, Tuskar Totemic. Turn 4, this. But you also don't want to like build the deck around this card.
Sure.
You don't want to say, okay, I don't want to make all of my plays around maximizing the efficacy of playing this card. I think this is going to be like a turn 5. I had to cast like turn 5. I have 4 mana because last turn I cast Lightning Bolt. I have 4 mana. But I'm basically playing a 5-drop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
no, and I think this is good even in a non-totem deck. Yeah. Because like you were saying, you're gonna be using you're a shaman. That's you're gonna be using it.
Post have got it too. It works on turns when you're heavily overloaded.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
That's huge. I love this card. This card is so strong.
Super good.
Another thing to note about this card, like I've been talking about this every single week, and I think this is a real defining factor of this moving forward in this next set. 5 drops. 5 drops, 5 drops, 5 drops. We have Azure Drake left, and a lot of the rest of them rotate out. And this thing for Shaman, as we were saying, on curve can be a 5 drop.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many. There's going to be almost no better 5 drop. The only thing we have so far that I think might be better is the new antique heal bot, the corrupted heal bot, the 6/6 for 5. Like that's slightly better, but like this thing is still really strong for turn 5. And the fact that it just gets better with time, it's like a fine wine, like you age it to make it better. Like it's just fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like way overpowered.
I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this card.
Yeah.
And I mean, what do you, I think 2 ofs. What do you guys think? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
Super flavor win too. Like the name is awesome.
Yeah.
A complete flavor win,
Right. I like it.
It's good for the fan as well. Like the player who's playing this competitively at high level play is going to be like, oh, he plays a thing from below. And then the fan's going to be like, it's a thing from below. Whoa, dude, it's a thing from below. What the hell is that? Like that's going to make the audience excited too. So like this is good card design from that standpoint as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. Solid. Anything else? I mean, that one's kind of, it's good. We're excited about it, but that's cut and dry. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Blizzando.
Blizzan. All right. Next one. Ancient Harbinger. It is a
Harbinger.
Harbinger. You're right.
Harbinger.
I'm sorry. My bad. Reading is hard. It's a 4/6 for 6. It reads, at the start of your turn, put a 10 cost minion from your deck into your hand.
I think this is okay. Like, I think this is actually pretty good. The reason I think it's really strong is because it's a tutor. And it says at the start of your turn, put a 10 cost minion from your deck to your hand. So if you're playing 10 cost minions, that being said, there aren't many 10 cost minions in this game. And the 10 cost minions that you want to get, you're only going to be running one of because they're legendaries.
Right.
And if you're playing a deck with a 10 cost minion in it, it's probably centered around that 10 cost minion. So why would you run other 10 cost minions unless it's maybe like E-Charge or something like that? We have to talk about E-Charge as well because that's new. So I think since we don't have tutors, and this is a tutor that like you don't have to work hard to make work well, I think it's good. The only problem I have with it is that it says at the start of your turn.
Yeah.
Huge factor.
I feel like it should say has taunt. Possibly.
But yeah, basically.
Yeah, basically.
In a way. I mean, obviously, if it's an aggro death, they might go, whatever, I'm going to kill you before you get turned 10 anyway. But I feel if it's anything else, it's kind of I need to get rid of this card kind of thing.
It's also almost like if you do play this, you might want to run two 10 costs. Because just in case it does stay out. Like you want to keep getting that value from it. Sorry. My diaphragm is attacking me.
Your diaphragm does not agree with your assessment, apparently. I think it won't see play. I'm going to be real.
Really? Okay.
If it said at the end of your turn, I think it will see play.
Yeah.
But just like Tom said, you have to put 2 10 cost minions, and that's a big deck restriction. And to really like fully utilize this card. And again, just like you said, it basically says I'm a 4/6 for 6 with taunt, which is strong. But again, like at the start of your turn, it's not generating any advantage for you, and it's a slightly underpowered creature for its cost.
Right.
So if you aren't able to trigger that, you're not really getting anything from it. So it's a little bit, I don't know, it's like a glass cannon is what it feels like. Like the glass cannon's going to break if someone touches it, but the glass cannon's going to fire a freaking cannon at you if it happens to live. Like it's I don't like glass cannon style cards, like cards that are going to just break easily.
I'm looking, and so my thought is, all right, you're going to play this with Old God cards. Like that's just where I see it going. Cthulhu, absolutely. You want to pull that card so you can drop it turn 10.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. It only gets better the longer the game goes, theoretically, depending on what you built your deck with. But, whatever. Enzoth. Again.
It's N'Zoth. Thank you very much.
N'Zoth, I'm sorry. Excuse me. So you're not going to be pulling any ancient harbingers with N'Zoth, obviously. N'Zoth summons Death Rattle minions that died this game.
Have you ever seen the video, the series of videos of the like David Blaine Street Magic parody?
Yes.
Yes. This is what this card reminds me of. It's just like if it doesn't do anything. So what? You got a 4/6. Big whoop. You got a 4/6. It's like, check out my next turn, and then wait for it. It's like amazing.
Out of nowhere. It's funny too because like the artwork's perfect for that. She's like got her hands in the air throwing some magic pixie dust, and she's like, just wait and see, this is my finale. Boom, a 10-drop.
Jesus, oh my god. Yeah. What happened? Yes.
Jesus.
What else is orange?
Yeah, I like
it's big whoop. Big whoop, Jesus, they're orange. Oh my god.
I think the card will be a fun Timmy card though.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we just run a one of with this. But then again, it's a 6. Harbinger? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because your other 6-drop you would be running is like Scarum Cultist for buffing.
Right. I'm thinking you've got this as a potential backup in case you don't.
Fireball is big this patch, man.
Yeah.
Fireball is actually a control spell if these cards are things.
Right.
No more face Fireball. Always creature Fireball.
I don't know. Like, yeah, Brad, I see. I do. And that's why I'm so flip-flopping on this card, because I totally agree with your point. It's kind of like it's not going to live long enough. So why wouldn't you just play something else?
But it's super fun. Like I think a big thing about this set, and this is why one of the other reasons I wanted to talk about this at the end of the podcast. So spoiler alert, at the very end of the podcast, I'm going to be talking about the psychographics of players, basically. And like in this particular card, I think they're designing more cards to meet with the psychographics of player. That is to say that like this Ancient Harbinger is designed for the Timmy. It's designed for the player that wants to do big, crazy things. You know, it's not designed for the competitive player necessarily, in my mind. Like it might see some fringe competitive play because the effect on it is really strong. Like put a 10-cost minion from your deck into your hand is just pure card advantage. It gets your biggest thing out of your deck. That is like your end all be all that you want to cast in like 2 to 3 turns after you get this, maybe even shorter if you're playing Druid, and you can go from there. In fact, this might be best suited in a Druid deck because if you're able to go like turn 2, innervate, put this out or something like that, and then get your 2 10-drops out of your deck, then you're getting 2 cards of card advantage because generally this thing's going to live 1, maybe 2 turns in that circumstances.
Yeah.
So,
well. Before we go on, is there anything else with this card you guys can think of?
I think we hit it.
Okay.
Got it. We're good.
DRC, real quick, I think we should talk about Timmy, Johnny, and Spike. We've talked about that on the show real quick. I mean,
you
just
want me
real
to
quick.
talk about it real quick?
Yeah. Just, we've talked about it before, but I think it's been 20 or 30 episodes ago.
Yeah, I have a whole thing written down here because I'm going to discuss it at the end of the podcast with what I want to talk about.
Give them a flavor. Give them a reason to stay for the end.
Okay. So there Mark Rosewater, who is one of the lead designers of Magic the Gathering, had said that, like as a person who follows the game Magic, right, or even just a person who plays games in general, you have a particular view of what you're trying to achieve as a player. So a good example is like, why are they buying your product needs to be the first thing from a game designer standpoint. But as the player, it's like, why is the player playing the game, though? Like, what's the emotional thing that the player is getting from the game? So the examples, like the names of Timmy, Spike, and Johnny are just, the names that were given just because of some lore within Magic, as well as just, they were just names that were given. So it can be anything. Really, you could say Timmy is the LOLs guy because Timmy is the guy who wants to experience something, right? Timmy is the guy who's like, oh my God, this is amazing. I want to do this because they want the thrill. They want how do you make them feel in the game? So they want the lols, like they're there for the dank memes. That's what Timmy is. Timmy's the guy who, isn't trying to play competitively, but they're there specifically to get as many dank memes as possible, play as many funny things as possible. Like they want the Feign Death, Brand Bronzebeard,
Dr. Boom,
Boom, and Baron Rivendare combo to happen.
And Pyromancer.
Yeah, they're really into that. Then you get on to your next one, which is Johnny, and Johnny's like a combo player, right? So they do it for sorry, Johnny's not. Sorry, Timmy's the did I get the two mixed up? Anyway.
No, that's Timmy. That's Timmy, right? Johnny is the one that likes the big creatures. He's the casual.
Right. He's the huge creatures. I love huge monsters. Yeah, he's like the casual. I want my 30-30.
He's Terra Stomper, and he's like, oh my god, it's so good. Look at the stats.
Exactly.
Like,
right. And so Johnny is the player that wants to, from a game design perspective, wants to come into the game to get interesting experiences. Their game is to create flavorful and interesting experiences. They're not there again to win. They're not there to create weird, crazy, dynamic experiences. They're there for something interesting, and maybe Boogie Monster is interesting to them because they like the flavor of it. They like the lore of it, and so that's interesting to them.
Boogie Monster is totally a Johnny card, like straight up. Like it's a big monster when it comes out, and it just gets bigger. Like Johnny just wants to keep making big monsters.
Right, and so you're going to see more cards, and I think the design team of Hearthstone is designing more cards for Johnny and Timmy and other dynamics within the. And obviously, Johnny, Timmy, and Spike don't necessarily depict every single player's goals within the game. It's just trying to talk about the majority, the top three. Anyway, the final one is Spike, and Spike is a total tryhard. Spike is myself. Like he wants to play hard. He wants to go hard. He's got one. It's like if you're not first, you're last. That's Spike, right? He wants to prove something when he's going there. Often what he's trying to prove is winning, right? And so that he wants cards that are strong. And so Spike's always just looking to win. So those are like the psychographics within like game design. So it's not necessarily specifically attuned to this style of game. However, those are good examples that fit really well with this style of game because they fit really well with Magic as well. So I think that's the psychographics are kind of like a representation of what we should expect from what we should expect from design. And some cards can be attuned to multiple, both Timmy and Johnny, or both Timmy and Spike, or Johnny and Spike. And so like they're not. It's not. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not. It's dynamic. It's not. They multiple. Psychotypes or psychographics within it. Multiple thought processes can go into a card. However, that gets harder, and that sometimes can create bad cards like Unstable Portal. Which, spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about Unstable Portal at the end of the episode and why. And it within psychographics and why I'm so fucking happy that stupid card's going away. Anyway, we'll get into that later though. But that's the idea.
Perfect.
We gotta kill these cards, man.
Yeah.
We gotta get this. 'Cause I'm ready.
All right. So yeah, that's for those of you at home that don't know what those three are, because we keep talking about those different types. And actually, I think it was last releases. Actually, every release is where we bring that up. So I'm sure we'll bring it up again. But now you know, and knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joe. Next one, Kabbalist Tome. It's a 5-mana mage spell. Reads: add 3 random mage spells to your hand. It's fair. I mean,
it's fair, but like I don't think it's good card design. Brad and I were talking about this. Yeah, I don't think it's good card design. Like I think it's not going to see play in like the tempo mage,
right?
And I don't think freeze mage needs it.
Yeah. It's kind of like we were talking about this before the podcast, like Tom was saying, and it's kind of like the replacement to Echo of Medivh in that slot, and like the more controlling mage decks, like the value mage decks. It just basically gives you 3 cards, which is what you're trying to do with Echo, with like an Echo mage deck. And so this kind of slots into that spot and gives you something similar. But when I say similar, Echo was like a controlled outcome where you could be like, I want more antique healbots. I want more Molten Giants. This is an uncontrolled outcome. Like this is like, I get 3 mirror images. Sweet. Awesome. Like I'm screwed now. Like or I get 3 fireballs. Awesome. I'm going to win the game next turn. Like, or, so like it's heavy RNG, and that's really why I don't like it. Again, I'm a Spike. I don't like it as a Spike player. I don't know if there's any Timmy or if there's any Johnny that likes it either. Like it doesn't seem like good card design because it doesn't seem to fit a dominant social paradigm within like or a psychographic within the confounds of the card design.
It's got
Maybe it's a Timmy card.
Yeah, it's got that word random in it. That's what I don't like.
Yeah. Like I think the only person who's really gonna love this card is the dedicated mage player.
Right.
The person who's like, I freaking, like that's the Johnny player who identifies with mage. They're like, I freaking love mage. That's all I play. Like that's the identity that I've created in this game.
That's the Timmy player. That's the Timmy.
Sorry,
player.
that's the Timmy player.
Yeah, because this is the like it's huge bomb. As it is, like it's like, all right, I gotta spend 5 mana this turn, but next turn I'm gonna get so many more cards, and I'm gonna have so much card advantage. I didn't even pull them out of my deck. What now? It's like, eh.
Yeah, I just really don't think this card's great. I think it will see play because it is a powerful effect to get 3 cards from one card. Like it's just pure card advantage, but it is random, and so I think competitive play will not see it much, or not. It will see play in like, let's say like a Reno list, because you just need more cards again. Like you just have to play stuff sometimes. But like if you have the choice between a 30th and 31st card, and you're like, which card do I pick? Do I pick the one of Kabbalist Tome, or do I pick this other card? Most times you're going to say, oh, I'll just pick the other card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
Tom, anything else?
No.
Yeah, I feel like we all are kind of at the same spot.
I want more better mage cards.
Yeah, much more betters. All right. I got nothing.
Okay.
Okay. All right, next one. Shaman card, Master of Evolution, a 4/5 for 4, reads Battle Cry. Transform a friendly minion into a random one that costs 1 more.
Hold on. Busted as fuck. Oh, there we go. That card is dumb good.
Wait, I'm sorry. I tuned out for a second. What was this card again? Can you read that again? This is really what you said? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
And that's all you need to do.
Okay, done.
All right.
So yeah, this card is freaking ridiculous.
It's busted. Busted as fuck.
Why is it busted as fuck?
Okay, I'll tell you this. Now, so it's busted because it's a Yeti. That's dumb. That it's a Yeti because we were talking about how we're going to play Yetis because we have no 4-drop, and then we get this Yeti that has an insanely good ability. And the ability is basically kind of like Shredder, and it's on a battle cry, and basically what you can do is you can take a 3-drop and humor me when I say that there is like a spider tank that you played on turn 3. Turn 4, spider tank is still on your board. You want to run it into something. You want to trade. You want to trade it down preferably. So you have a 3/2 or you have a 3/1. Something that's damaged.
Like Tom played a 3/4. It's my turn now. I played Silverhand Regent. Go.
Yeah. Boop. Trade into that. Then I play Master of Evolution. Now my 3/1, who is damaged, has turned into a 4/4 fully healed. I mean, a 4-drop fully healed.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
which is probably a 4/4. That's a pretty good stat. That's a pretty good average to expect on your 4-drop. So so what you're saying is it's a Chillwind Yeti that heals your minions and makes them better.
Right.
Insane.
Right.
Freaking insane. This card is insane. And the thing about this card that I think is most notable is the other, like, this is probably the best creature in the entire set, besides like maybe the best creature in the entire set. And then you have Master of Evolution as well in Shaman. Shaman has gotten, in my opinion, 2 of the best minions in the entire set.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, easily. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, Piloted Shredder goes to Shaman only now.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's stupid. And then when you turn 5 Thing from below, it's not quite a Sludge Belcher, but it's like similar enough that they also are the only people like it.
Here's the Johnny coming out at me right now. Here's the Johnny. Okay. Turn 3 somehow you play Thing from the Below. And then turn 4 you play Master of Evolution. And now turn 4 you have a 4-drop, 4/5, and a 7-drop. Never gonna happen. Mathematically, you can't do it. But oh my god, that's awesome.
Wait a minute. What if there's a 1-mana totem that comes out?
Fuck off.
1-mana totem, 4 power, totem golem, Oh no, you don't want to turn 3 totem. How do you do that?
Totem. It's a 1-drop 2/1 totem. That's it. Fuck off. But that's. Oh. No, don't actually, please. Please make that card. I want that.
It's like the Wisp totem. It's a 0/0 totem or something.
Yes. Now you're talking.
Yeah, right.
There we go. Like if we have two, you could put 2 Wisp totems in. You go Wisp totem to reduce the cost by 2. Turn 2 totem golem. Turn 3 make a totem from your thing. That's 4 totems. Still wouldn't work. Damn it.
Yeah, it's
How do
not.
you make that work?
It's not.
Okay,
possible.
Wisp totem. Turn 2 hero power. Turn 3 spit out the 5/6, the 5/5 for 6.
Yeah.
And then turn 4 play that and turn that get a 7-drop.
Jesus.
Okay. If this is a real thing, like honestly, I could see them designing that into the game. Why not? You could make a Wisp totems. Like they're not
Right.
gonna
Oh
be
yeah.
broken. Like they're just gonna be like they're just gonna make that deck more lols.
Yeah,
you know,
it'll be like tribes, like those Murloc Wisp. You know, the 1/1s for 0, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Tiny Fin.
Yeah, Tiny Fin. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I mean, anything else on this card? It's other than it's fucking amazing.
I love
It's
it.
freaking amazing.
Freaking amazing.
People in China.
This is a straight up 5 out of 5. Like if we were to like rate it, if we were to actually rate our cards,
LSP
like-
LSP rating. A+.
right? Because like a lot of cards we don't rate them because they're sometimes situational. They're like for instance like Master of Evolution is situational because you have to have totems to make it good. Now that's not a big situation, but like it's it creates design constraints within the deck. Thing from below, literally you start when you it's the piloted shredder test now. You know, you build a shaman deck and you say, okay, what are we gonna put in our shaman deck? Start with 2 thing from
Other way. I'm sorry. Other way around. Thing from below is the totem one, and then.
Oh, sorry, I have the names mixed up. Yeah.
No, it's fine. They're both awesome, and I love them, and they both have tentacles.
I am never a master of names. I'm like way below the par on those kind of things.
That's fine because you have a Master of Evolution now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, got him.
I feel like my 2 puns were better there, but whatever.
Oh man. Oh, giggly moogly. All right.
We skipped a card actually.
We did, yes. I'm gonna go back. I noticed that too. All right, so we're gonna step back up in mana cost real quick and go with Hammer of Twilight. It's a 4/2 for 5, and that is a shaman weapon, correct? Yes.
Yep. Shaman.
This is a shaman weapon.
Death Rattle. Summon a 4/2 elemental.
It's pretty all right. I think it's good. It's a 5-drop, so it competes with Doomhammer, and I think Doomhammer is better. And I think it should be a 4-drop. Now that might make it OP as fuck. And Shaman already got more OP as fuck cards, and they don't need another one. And by don't need another one, I mean please fucking Blizzard make this happen. But if it's like okay, so look at I'm gonna compare this to Deathspite. That's a 4-drop 4/2, and it has a Death Rattle, and its Death Rattle is summon 2 patrons, Grim Patrons, basically.
Sure. That's its upside. It's maximum upside. So you're saying that like this has a similar.
I mean,
but at 5 mana though, like it's going to be a turn slower to get that 4/2.
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think the simple fact around it is that it just comes down to, I think it's overcosted. I think it's a good card aside from its mana cost.
But at 4 mana, it's too powerful. Too.
Yeah.
Like I think it might be too powerful at 4 mana. You know what's interesting about this card is if we have some sort of control shaman list that shows up, because we've got a bunch of like good big threats already in shaman. If you're just like this mid-range control-y kind of like
and we could see it.
I feel like almost like a paladin control list, like how you see paladin control lists that have like, you know, like lay on hands type effects and a bunch of big threats. This card could fit in that kind of a deck because, you know, it gives you this threat, and on top of that, it gives you a relatively strong weapon that trades in pretty effectively. So I think it could see play. I just like you said, little bit hindering on the 5 mana. But 5 mana. 5 mana is a wide open slot,
and 4/2 is really easy to get rid of.
Yeah, I feel like this is the anti, and I'm not saying this is good necessarily. This is the anti Harrison Jones card. I play it. I hit face or kill a minion for now. It's a 4/1. You Harrison Jones it. Now I have something to potentially kill your Harrison Jones with. Is it worth it though? No.
I don't know.
I think it's interesting how it interacts with Harrison. That's like something I hadn't considered at all.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the best case scenario. And again, for those of you playing at home, when we talk about these cards, and we've talked about just to make sure if you're new, don't know, when we talk about these cards, we are talking about standard format, not arena, not wild, anything else. So standard, your tournament play, that's what we're really focused on. So like, I think this might be a decent arena card, actually. Maybe. I think it's better in arena than it is standard. But that's just my opinion.
And you have to rate it around the epics that are with it too. That you have the option to pick.
Sure.
I think it's mid-tier pick or upper mid-tier pick as way of epics go that you could get. But I'm also not an arena player, so
right.
I would take this card a lot in arena. It's a 2-for-1, potentially 3-for-1.
Sure.
Yeah. It definitely looks good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid fair.
All right. I mean, that's all I can think of. And that's that card in a nutshell. Get to swing twice and get a 4/2. Done. All right.
Yep.
Here we go. All right. Next one. Did I say? No, I didn't. All right. Mire Keeper. It's a druid card. 3/3 for 4. Reads. Choose one. Summon a 2/2 slime or gain an empty mana crystal.
This guy's not bad. However,
no,
it needs to be a 3.
Oh, I hear you.
Is this a druid card?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Searing Spear effects just kill this. Like just outright. And then you have the effect. So I think the fact that it's a 3/3 kind of sucks because there's a lot of things in the early game that you're not going to be playing. Like there's nothing that's going to soak up the Searing Spear effects like Wrath, Frostbolt, Fiery War Axe, whatever. Like it's just too easy to kill. Plus that 2/2 slime that you get doesn't have taunt. Gaining an empty mana crystal, that's actually all right. That's not too bad. But I don't know. I think it's lackluster. I think if it was a 3/4, it would make this card exponentially better.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because a lot of less removal kills it, just like you said.
Oh, yeah.
Can I ask a serious question, Tom? Because I think we have very differing opinions on this card. What would you rate this card? Like out of 1 to 5?
Like,
let's say 3 is just like neutral, good card. 5 is must play. 1 is don't play.
Probably like a 3, and well, like a 3 to 2.5, something like that. And the only reason I would consider rating it higher is because we don't have a 4-drop for Druid. So
do
you think it's busted?
I think it's a 5.
You think it's a 5?
Now,
yeah, it's like a 4.5 or 5 in my opinion.
Is it because you're getting a 5/5 worth of stats in 2 bodies?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
Okay.
But the other major reason is Druid as a class. When you think about Wild Growth, which I think we can make a safe assumption that Wild Growth is not getting.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to value 4-drops even higher in Druid. So
that's fair.
You're getting a 3/3 for 2. Yeah, I didn't even think about that really.
If you turn 3 this against Mage, and then they go to their 3 mana or whatever turn, and they Frostbolt it, they've only Frostbolted and they only have 1 mana left. So most times they're going to be making a suboptimal play because they didn't use all 3 of their mana that turn.
Wow.
And you still have a 2/2 left on the board. And then you go to your next turn, and then it's turn 5, and you say here's a 4/6 with taunt, and now you have a 2/2 that's just attacking effectively for the next 6 to 7 turns that can't through. Like I think on the face of this card, when you look at it, it looks like a 3. But I think that like in a vacuum, this is probably a 3.5 or so. Like it's not the best card ever printed. It's not Dr. Boom or something, but like in the Druid class, it's incredibly powerful. And not only that, but like, let's say, for instance, you have a hand that doesn't have ramp. You have something that has like Living Roots into, I don't know, like coin, or no, like, I don't know, let's say Darnassus Aspirant, they kill your Darnassus Aspirant. Then on turn 3, you go coin Mire Keeper, and you gain an empty mana crystal. That can put you directly to 5, and 5 is like one of the most pivotal turns for the Druid deck generally, because they get things like, well, Lotheb's gone, but like you get the 4/6, the with a 4/6 with Taunt, the Druid of the Claw, which is really strong to be able to bridge that gap in a sense. So they effectively you can move up to wherever you need for like that mana. Also, like if you go, like I was saying with the coin option, you could go from 3 up to 5. Without coin, you can go 4 to 6, which gives you Emperor on 6, which is a lightning rod, and it forces them to be reactive to that next turn. And so this card can force your opponent to be reactive in the mid game, which is good sometimes for Druids, so that they don't fall heavily behind, because they don't get board wipes. So like, I don't know, outside of like swipe or something. So I don't know. I think this card is fantastic. And also, to even spit more praise at this card, it's a modal card. It has 2 options. True. You know, like cards that have options are really powerful. Like modal cards, like giving the player more options gives them more ability to win the game. You know, like it also like gives them more ability to lose the game because they might make the wrong decision. Right. But that's on the player to make that decision. And if the player's making the correct decision with a modal card, they're gaining generally more advantage than a non-modal card. So like a card that just says, here's a 4/5, like Chillwind Yeti, is a non-modal card. And while the 4/5 might, in some circumstances, be better, in a lot of circumstances, having the modal card, which is maybe slightly weaker stats, well, I mean, it isn't really, but let's say it is weaker stats, like Keeper of the Grove, having the modal card, having options, really gives it versatility against more decks in the field, not just like designed to beat aggro, designed to beat combo, designed to beat, like control. This card gives you the options to, in certain matchups, shift and say, I need the mana crystals in this matchup. Or, in this matchup, it's aggro, I need the extra 2/2, or whatever it may be. So,
right.
Yeah.
I like it.
I agree.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This one's going to be interesting. I think this sees a lot of play just because it's a 4-drop. We have no Piloted Shredder.
Right.
But like, I think this card is, I don't think it's as good as the Shaman card.
Right.
I think the Shaman card's bustedly good. It's like really good, but this card is pretty damn strong.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's Mire Keeper. Next one. Blood Warriors. 3 mana warrior spell. Reads, add a copy of each damaged friendly minion to your hand.
What? I haven't even read this card yet.
Wow, it is 1 mana less than Echo of Medivh. I think it is kind of worse, but it's in Warrior. And giving Warrior more creatures is kind of dumb. Like all you have to do is play Shield Maiden, or all you have to do is play what's her name? Ancient Shield Bearer. Run it into something and then play that. And then play it again and get shit tons
of
armor. Yeah, all the armor. So I think it's actually pretty decent.
So we're also, you can also copy back your charge minions as well. So I'm wondering if this might spike a little bit of Warsong Commander decks or something like that. Maybe. Are we going to get back to like vanilla Hearthstone Face Warrior? Maybe.
That would be kind of cool.
I don't know.
What about like a Reno list with Cthulhu?
Ooh.
Because you can get back Reno, you can get back Cthulhu.
Yeah, but
you can get back the armor dude that you were talking about.
Oh, that's dirty.
Well, yeah.
It
won't buff Cthulhu though. Like you're not gonna get your second like Cthulhu as a buff Cthulhu, but it'll be a 6/6.
Oh, really? It's just a 6/6.
Actually, you're right.
Yeah, because it only buffs the
it's your
card itself.
You're just getting a copy
of the creature that's on board.
Okay. Right. So
then maybe just a straight up Reno list would want it.
We're assuming you're not going to get the buffs.
Right.
I think it's probably safe.
I think you're probably
safe
right, Tom.
bet.
I think you're right. I think it's
just
a safe
by
bet.
how the game works.
Yeah, because that would just be stupid. That would just be really stupid. Because I'd turn 2 Cthulhu, or I'm sorry, turn 10, turn 11, damage it with something, whirlwind, whatever. play Blood Warriors and then just, do whatever, and then turn 12, do it again if you're not already dead.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
I think this card's strong.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I originally looked at it and I didn't like it, but now that I thought about it, like actually, I like it. Yeah.
I think it's
good card.
I know it's only a warrior card, but I feel like it's only good. The only class that would really take advantage of it is warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty
maybe
good.
mage. Maybe mage.
Maybe, yeah.
Mage would like
yeah.
it because like Echo of Medivh, but
Right.
Yeah.
Mage doesn't have a lot of good battle cries, and I think battle cries is what makes this good.
I
Like,
think this card
in
might
comparison.
see more
Warrior.
more wild play. Like it feels like it slots into like a patron list really strong.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it gives patron quite a level of resiliency too, because like I think one of the issues that patrons had in the past is like the decks that have like let's say Brawl, for instance, like board wipes that just clear them. It kind of struggles because it doesn't have enough like threats in the actual deck. It has to use like whirlwinds to create more patrons, which creates more creatures effectively. But if you're all of a sudden picking up like Blood Warriors and you're like let's say you go patron, whirlwind or Despite, because you have Despite and Wild, you just go like patron, Despite, make an extra patron, inner rage a patron, then Blood Warriors, and now you have 2 more patrons in your hand. So like you effectively have like the next 2 waves of patrons ready to go. And I mean, it might be only a one of in that kind of a list, but even just as a one of, it just creates wave 3 and 4 of patrons, which is really strong. It's just it's like so hard to kill that many patrons.
I think they're trying to keep patron alive, and I don't think they're doing a great job, but I think they're trying. So
I think it makes sense too. It's a good deck. It's a skill intensive deck. It's an iconic card now.
Yeah.
Like people kind of recognize it because it was so powerful before, and it's like it fits with the general theme now with outside of the nerfing war song, but now it fits with what it seems like the design themes are of the game, which is to have like minion versus minion battles. And like the patron deck is this kind of like, it's kind of like the epitome of minion versus minion battles. It's like if you can't beat the patrons, you're gonna lose. If you can beat the patrons, then the game keeps going on, and like the patrons are just like the infinite minion. It's kind of cool. So
yeah. Okay.
I think it feeds into our next card, Ravaging Ghoul, a 3/3 for 3 warrior card. Battle cry: deal 1 damage to all other minions. So we kind of got our Deathbite back.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Unstable Ghoul was a neutral card, and now this is a warrior card.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's a better one by far.
Maybe.
Well,
maybe better.
Well, I guess
Like,
you could like you're
It would
unstable.
have to be turn 8 to make like warrior like
Right.
a patron combo happen.
Mhm.
So like you're gonna patron
And your patrons don't have charge, right?
you're gonna patron inner rage and then ravaging ghoul. Yeah, you have a board of 1, 2, 3, 4 3/3s and then a 5/3, but that's turn 8. So I think it's okay. Like if your patrons survive, boom, ravaging ghoul, a free patron,
Right.
and then more. Well,
Mhm.
a free 3/3, which is the same thing as a patron body and patrons. So
I look at this as
I think it's okay.
a 3/3 for 2 and a whirlwind all in one card.
Oh yeah,
That's how I'm kind of like,
Sure.
that's a good way to look at it
can't-
too.
It's all in one card, so you don't have the ability to do like turn 4 wow, what's the 1/3 every time it takes damage, draw a card?
Acolyte of Pain?
Thank you. Acolyte. You can't Acolyte of Pain and Whirlwind, but you could turn 3 Acolyte of Pain, turn 4 Ravaging Ghoul.
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like it's better. I don't know.
I think it's the problem for me is just that it's a little bit slower than Unstable Ghoul.
It is. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool that Unstable Ghoul you could set up one turn. If it doesn't die, you can just be like, oh, now I can turn 5 patrons and make a million of them.
That's true. Yeah.
But again, though, like I think the Ravaging Ghoul is definitely a good kind of like
Solid
substitute for that piece now.
I feel like it's filling in the Deathbite. Now, Deathbite, you did get
Despite's
8
quicker,
damage out
too.
of it, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I didn't like about Deathbite is you had to develop over a turn before you actually got the death rattle effect. So it was kind of, it's like, okay, next turn or turn after this one, I need to get the death rattle off. I don't want to play the weapon. I'd rather spend that 4 mana on something else. This kind of negates that in a way, sort of.
Sure. Easy peasy.
Yeah. That it? Anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay. Last one. Vilefin Inquisitor. 1/3 for 1 Murloc Paladin card. Battle cry. Your hero power becomes summon a 1/1 Murloc.
Here's why this is bad.
Yeah, I want to hear
And
it.
I know. Yeah,
I know exactly
and
where
a lot
you're
of
going to
people
go.
are like, "Oh yeah, Murloc Paladin are so good." It's going to make 1/1 Murlocs, which is great because Murlocs get buffed by other Murlocs. But I don't like it because it's going to, like, when you play Murloc Paladin, the list has tuned down so many Murlocs because it's tuned to just that combo.
Exactly.
My only concern is that we lose old Stink Eye, so I don't know what that would really do for this. But I also think that the fact that we lose old Stink Eye makes it so that Vilefin kind of just doesn't even help. Like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna hero power, and that's gonna make my old Merc Eye do more damage. But I feel
it
like also clogs up your combo. Like,
right,
that's the main
exactly.
Like,
I feel like we're gonna, and Brad, I want to hear your opinion on this too, because I know you've played the Murloc, the current one.
Yeah.
I feel like this could potentially be a second Murloc deck, a flood deck as opposed to an OTK deck. That's it. We're gonna have two. You don't put this in the OTK deck, but you do put it in a flood Murloc Paladin deck.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think it's part of the flood deck, the flood Paladin deck. Like, I think this might become, if we get like a flood Paladin deck that is able to utilize the Murlocs relatively effectively, I think that's kind of the direction the flood Paladin might have to go towards. Because like, and not only that, but like, basically this is a one, like, if you think about the Shaman 1/3, I mean, it's a much better card. I can't think of the name of the one that gets plus damage based on overload.
Trog. Shaman Trog. The Tunnel Trog.
Yeah. Tunnel Trog. There we go. I was gonna say Trogs rule. But basically this does something similar to you, because on turn 1, if you go 1 mana 1/3 and then you have Abusive Sergeant in hand or something along those lines, you're able to start utilizing a 3 toughness creature after turn 1. So it really puts you in a position where it's a solid 1-drop, because if they play like a 2/2 on turn 2 or a 2/3 on turn 2, you can make positive trades and still maintain this threat on the board. The real selling point for me on this card is the butt. But like you said, I think you hit the nail on the coffin there. Or pin the tail on the donkey. That's better. That's a better analogy. I think you pin the tail on the donkey on that one, Mike, because I think this is a flood Paladin kind of card.
Yeah.
I think, and I think the shitty thing though is that, like, if you do play Vilefin Inquisitor in your flood Pally list, Warhorse Trainer is absolutely out, because you're not going to be casting Silverhand Recruits anymore. So
sure.
And that's one thing I have. Maybe you'll get lucky with getting something out of a oh yeah,
that one.
That's
Murloc Knight. Thank you.
Right.
But one of the other things that pisses me off is that this is another shitty card that you will get out of Murloc Knight. So
that's true. Oh, this is a nerf for Murloc Knight.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That is a nerf to Murloc Knight.
Yeah, because he got. He just keeps getting stomped on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Tiny Fin, and then now this one.
Wait. No, it does make it better, but you don't get the battle cry. That's right. So, but it's still worse because
it's still worse. You get a 1/3 instead of better.
Okay, I was thinking it was worse than it actually is, but it's not as bad. Yeah, this is a specific flood like, I think we're gonna have flood Paladin, and we're gonna have flood Murloc Paladin. I think we'll have those two decks too. But all right,
cool
guys, that's it.
All right.
We'll be right back. Yeah, we'll be right back with Crew Rants. Welcome back. This is Crew Rants. I am Tac2, joined by Just Soup and Bradford Lee. If you were looking for Hearthstone related content, we're not going to really have much more. Like, this is kind of off topic, sort of, a little bit. It's generally Blizzard, but we will still have Hearthstone related stuff at the end of the show, like we always do. Brad again has something special for us. So How about how long do you think the end's going to be, Brad?
Not like 3 minutes. Not
Okay,
too long.
so just if you're not interested in any of this, skip ahead until there's about 3 minutes left in this show and find the end there. But let's just get into it. Just Soup, what grinds your gears, man? What's going on?
The first thing that grinds my gears is insignificant in comparison to the second things that grinds my gears, and that's why I'm going to save the best one for last. The first thing is that I've seen this shit on Reddit, and if you're this type of person, please stop having this mentality. And this is this mentality. I've seen comments all over the fucking place that say there is no reason to speculate about cards right now because we don't know all of the cards.
Yes.
We don't know the whole meta. That's a shitty mentality, objectively speaking. Not just because not just because, okay, these cards are cool and you should learn about them, but like you're just wrong, straight up. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because people like us who sit down and we look at these cards and we say, okay, this can be good. We're not saying that these cards are gonna be good. We're saying this, except for Master of Evolution, that card's busted. But so there are some cards that are objectively good, and those cards are going to determine a big chunk of the meta. Yes, there may be a card that says as soon as you play it, destroy all Master of Evolutions that have ever existed in the history of whatever. But you look at this card, and until you see something that has a hard counter and that will be played instantaneously because that card is insanely good, which happens 0.001% of the time, then yeah, you might have a 0.001% of the time. But the thing is that you need to look at these cards. You need to look at them and think, because right now, yeah, we don't have all the information, but we have a lot of the information. We can look at cards like Giant Sandworm, and we can say, look, it's just not good. And we know it's not good because hunters don't play 8-drops. Hunters don't need this type of card. There's no card that's gonna there's almost no way they're gonna make a card that's gonna make this card good. Almost no way. And then we're gonna look at things like Master of Evolution, and this card is just so good, and there's no way they're gonna make a card that's gonna make this card no good.
Yeah.
So you need to look and on top of that, it's fun. It's fun to look at these cards. It's not absolutely pointless because it's so fun to look at these cards and go wow, that's a cool card. I'd like to see this in Standard. I'd like to see this played. And the big thing about quit laughing at me. And the big thing about this is that nobody some idiots may be saying this with 100% validity, but what we're saying on the show when we evaluate these cards is we know we don't have proof. We know we don't have the full set, so we can't say what is good compared to what will be good as well. We don't know that Shredder's going to be reprinted yet. So Master of Evolution may be garbage and Shredder may be not garbage. But then again, you can also run Master of Evolution and Shredder because that's pretty fucking great too. The thing is that don't have that shitty mentality. Don't have the mentality of you need to just fucking not be interested in these cards, because it's important. It's important to look at these things, and you can't just say, I don't care, because the shit's gonna impact you soon. So
right,
yeah.
So
important.
Is that it for one?
That's
okay.
That's
so before you go to two, because you kind of went into something as well. So let me give you some time to build up the rage.
Go ahead.
No, I agree 100%. I don't see a problem with theory crafting at all, because you're right. If something comes out and it's freaking Thing from Below is freaking amazing, and then we get a 2-drop that's a 7/7 that says destroy all Thing from Belows on the board, in the hand, or in the deck. Okay, well, okay, that becomes a SPR. Was it really that bad to talk about that card, number one? No, I think theory crafting one, it's not even fun. It's helpful, because I think we're talking about things like, we talked about it, and Brad, you changed my mind on it. Mire Keeper. Okay. You're telling me in one card I get a 3/3 and a wild growth, or 2/2. Yeah. So it's 5/5 and 2 body basically. Okay, yeah, I get it now. Okay, yeah, fantastic. My rant's kind of related to this because it's like, okay, I'm gonna be devil's advocate now and be one of those people that's like, all right, let's not talk about this. If we're not going to talk about these cards until they're all released, then Blizzard, last BlizzCon you said we're not gonna spoil something and then make you wait 2 months to do it. You just did. The cards, this set isn't being released for another 3 weeks. Am I wrong? Am I right?
Brad, the 26th is the de facto time right now.
So say what you were saying about Magic earlier.
Oh, hang on before you get to that. So I just want to say.
That's really
like if we're gonna play devil's advocate, then let's go yell at Blizzard for doing this to us. Like, and I'm trying not to be angry at Blizzard, but like I'm kind of. It's not even like I don't want to talk about the cards because we don't know. It's like I'm over it. It's just like release the damn set already. Like it's done. Like I really don't care anymore. Like just release the card so we can play it. Really, I just want standard. That's really what I want. I want to play these too. Yeah. But if you just made standard right now and then gave us these cards, even if it's just weird for a week.
Standard would be a clown fiesta, and that's totally
would be awesome.
That would be totally awesome because we would have the first standard ever, and it would be terrible.
Yeah,
and then we would have an actual standard. Like it would just be like shits and giggles.
Yeah,
play Wild.
Well, go back to Wild. It's no different. It's no different.
It's like,
right.
It's like, okay, why? Like even if you're wrong, why are you so fucking scared to be wrong?
Right.
Why is everybody on Reddit so fucking scared to be wrong? Grow a fucking pair and admit that you're wrong. That's how life works. Because that's how life is, okay? Like
DRC confirmed. That's how life is. Confirmed. Grow some balls. DRC confirmed. That's what life is.
So much more angry. All right.
All right.
Brad, talk about the Magic thing because that was important too.
I did not realize this, and that just makes me go, yeah, I'm sorry.
So one thing that's really interesting right now is that Magic has been releasing their new set as well. So the new standard for Magic happened this month as well. And Magic announces their sets as well as release dates like a year in advance. So we know when it's going to release like a year in advance, right? So you would say, oh, wow, well, they must have started spoilers like 4 months ago or something like that. Well, it released last week, and it released on Saturday at the 2nd. And within the time frame that they announced Whispers of the Old Gods and started like spoiling cards for Whispers of the Old Gods, we had got no spoilers for Shadows of Innistrad yet. But basically we had no spoilers for the new Magic set. Within the time frame of them telling us the first Old Gods cards, and 3 weeks from now, which was when it's going to release, the actual release of the Old Gods, we've gotten the spoilers for a Magic set. We've gone through all of them. We've released the set. And the game will be played for 3 more weeks before we actually even get the set for Shadow. Like it's ridiculous. And then if you go back in time and we're like, oh, let's look at the BlizzCon announcement for League of Explorers. They were like, hey, League of Explorers, check it out. It's coming out next week. It's like, what the fuck? That's grow a pair right there. Grow a pair and admit when you're wrong. That's fine. Like you screwed up on Mysterious Challenger. We get it. It's way too fucking powerful. Everyone gets that. And you released League of the Explorers after that because you screwed up and you didn't create standard 2 years ago. And you screwed up and you had to print like more powerful cards in order to combat the already more powerful cards. Like you screwed up and you made Mysterious Challenger because you were like, well, we don't need standard. Let's just print more powerful cards. Boom, you fucked up. All right, we get it. Power creep. Got it. Don't fix your mistakes in a way that punishes the player 4 months down the line. Like now we're getting punished for what we got with League of Explorers at first. That's stupid. That's just like, it doesn't make sense to like, and not only that, but like, just like Mike was saying, we got to the point now where like, I really don't even care about the Whisper of the Old Gods card reveals anymore. Cause they're coming in so freaking slow that like, why do I want to check back on the subreddit for Magic every day and find maybe one card?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I found one card and I just spent 10 minutes of my life digging up for that card. Okay, cool. I spent 10 minutes looking for this card and I gave a hit to this website in order to look for that card. And not only that, but they're giving it to like streamers to reveal rather than like actual like gaming companies or something, or like, you know, like IGN or something. And so like they're not putting out like massive, like it's not a big promotional thing. They're promoting some streamers. Yes, that's good for the streamer, but like that's a small subgenre of the entire community.
Right.
Like it's not IGN where like a shit ton of people read this, or like they're then gonna go and spend promotional dollars to try and draw people into this article or whatever. You know, IGN did get a card, but so that's not really the greatest example. But like there are other websites and other places that this is that could get stuff like that, and it would help grow their website and help grow their brand. Unlike just being like, here, Kriparian, let your 25,000 viewers check this out, even though there's another 100,000 viewers in the world that would like to see this card, and it's going to take another 30 minutes to get spoiled. And the only other place it's going to get spoiled is on Reddit and on the websites that conglomerate all of the cards. Like it's just, I don't know. I think they really blundered this. They really screwed up.
It's just like Blizz. Like I was so happy with how they handled League of Explorers. Now I know it's a smaller release. It's not as many cards, but it was literally like, all right, here's what's coming, and it's going to be here next week. Awesome. Yes, that like I'm tired of like, a AAA games doing that too, where it's like, hey, here's this awesome game. It's not coming out for 3 years. Well, don't show me it. I don't care, because by the time it comes out, I don't care anymore. Now we're at the point where those games come out, and 3 years ago it wasn't the case because we were all overhyped. Now we're at the point where it's like, oh, that game looks awesome. It's gonna be horrible. Like if the game looks good right now, we're all going, it's going to be terrible. Like that's just, that's where the industry's put us. And Blizzard is the one company, in my opinion, I am a Blizzard fanboy. Blizzard, even Diablo 3, I forgive them for Diablo, like the beginning of Diablo 3. It's a good game now. I forgive them for where it started. Blizzard does awesome. They just do great work. But like this, it's like just are they not done with the cards? I mean, if that's what it is, that's fine, but maybe don't tell us about it, one, but also like by the time this is out, it'll have been 5 months.
Yeah.
This
Monday was the longest period
ever.
Ever. Yeah. As of the 4th of April, it's the longest gap that we've ever had for any set expansion or release in this game. And like what pisses me off the most about that is like, it's like, okay, that means we probably should be seeing it in the next week or so. They still haven't told us the official release date. Like, what the fuck? Just tell us when it's going to release, or give us at least a tentative month. Like if you're going to be like, oh, it's coming out in April, be like, it might come out the 1st of the month, and then be like, or just tell us the month. If you tell us the month and you're like, we plan to release it on the 1st, but if we have some issues, we have 30 days to figure out those issues and get them sorted. Like, oh, we're having some card that's having an issue, we're going to push the pre-release back, or the release back by a week or something. Right. And that's fine. That's absolutely okay. Like, it's okay to fall back on your schedule a little bit, but like, give us some inclination about what time it is. And with 2 weeks left, 3 weeks, because it's the 26th, like, you should tell us. But like, there have been rumors and thought processes that would suggest that it was coming out sometime between the 11th and the 18th. Because that would make sense on what schedule we've seen in the past. But now that it accidentally got leaked, that it's coming out the 26th, I don't understand why they wouldn't just tell us that. Yeah. Like, just inform the player. Like, what's the downside to that?
My theory is this is a not new, but a different marketing campaign than they've done so far. Like, have you guys seen the paintings or the ad art that they've done on the side of buildings? Like, I guess that was all down the West Coast. I feel like
in New York and stuff.
That, and then how slowly they've done this. And like Brad, you were talking about where they do a card on this streamer and on this website, and they do one here and they do one there. And they're just trying to spread it out for, promotion to kind of spread out. So it's not just one, bam, here's the expansion, and then it goes away. But like to spread it out over like realistically 2 months almost. Like, I'm done. Like, I've gone to the point of excitement to like, I just, call me when it's out. Like, that's just how I feel right now. Like,
and as a podcast, it's kind of annoying because our original strategy was like, hey, every week we'll do a review on the cards. And now we're committed to that. Right. And it's like, we could have just done this in 1 week rather than have to string this idea along for the next month and a half. Like, what the fuck?
TGT, we had to do it over 2 episodes because so it's like, all right, two episodes. They were really long episodes. So three normal size episodes, we can do them. So over 3 weeks, is fine. Like, if this is the third or fourth week we've done this now, right? Am I wrong?
I think it's the 5th week actually now.
Jeez. Okay, so it's been too long. Like, we
Yeah.
should have gone over all the cards by now, because it's like 2 months of talking about like, I want to spend 3 weeks talking about theorycrafting the cards, and then spend the next 3 weeks talking about the cards in reality, you know. But as opposed to, we're going to have 7-8 weeks of theorycrafting a few cards at a time, and then
Here are the cards. And next
hopefully,
week, here are the cards.
right, and hopefully we're not disappointed. Like, I don't think we're going to be, just looking at what we've seen so far, especially with what we talked about today. Like, we're getting exciting cards, but as soon as we see it, like Master of Evolution, it's awesome, I can't wait, and crickets, because it's like, okay, that's card. All right, call me when it's done. I don't know what else to do. I'm
In
just.
the meantime, let's play Druid that has been in the game for 2.5 years.
Yeah, or
It's like, okay.
like, or this broken deck that's been around for the last 4 months. Let's just keep playing that. You know, it's too long. 5 months is too long. 4 months is like, when the 4 months is up, I'm so excited. I'm pumped. I'm ready. But that it hasn't happened. Like, I'm just the meta is kind of stale for me right now, and I think that's part of it too. I think that's really what's pushing me.
Like, my anus is about to rupture.
So
Like,
is that
I'm
it for
ready.
this? Are you ready?
Yeah, that's
We're
it.
done.
One more thing.
Brad's got one more thing. Hold it. Pinch.
Chat mentioned this.
Prairie dog it.
The fact that I'm gonna go real slow. Tom really wants to talk about this. But I really want to point out this fact and this point, because it's really important to me. I think it's something to note about this real long time frame that we've had. It's
How
been,
long? How long has
5
it been?
months now, something like that.
Okay.
I think it's been 5 months now. Or so,
How many
to be
days
fair,
are in 5 months?
I don't know. There's a lot of days in those. Well, if you include leap year, it's maybe even more.
Oh wow. Yeah, you're right.
So like even more days. Okay, but seriously though, with this much time, people have been able to save gold and dust. So they're probably making less money.
Yes, I didn't even think about that. Sure.
Because I've got like the last sets, I've had like 1,000 or 2,000 gold saved up. I got like $4,000 on my account right now, just sitting there stagnating, waiting for the next set. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Less people are going to pre-order.
I'll shut you up.
no, stop. Hang on, one thing. I just want to say, I hope the goal of this is not to sound like entitled millennials. That is not what this is. It is really just like, you told me one thing back November,
Yeah.
and you're not doing it now. Like, please go back to what you did in November. You had me so excited, because I thought, finally, we're going to get on a regular schedule, and it's not going to be even 4 months. It might even be less. And we've got even longer. So, like, I'm not entitled to these cards, but you told me one thing. So I'm going to get angry when I expect one thing because you told me, and we're getting a completely different thing. I'm entitled to be angry.
And just quit flip-flopping. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
We also what happened to John Kerry. He flip-flopped and he didn't win. So,
Done. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tom, unleash.
So here's the deal. Blizzard has lost a very significant amount of my one, respect, and two, financial support. I am not going to buy Legion because of what they have done. And obviously we've been talking about it in chat, but they have as of the 10th of April, they will have shut down Nostalrius, which is a vanilla private server that I have been playing on since it came out in last February. Matt introduced me to it, and we played it a tiny bit, and then I went and did my thing, and he went and did his thing, and he plays Alliance and Alliance Scum, whatever. But oh my god, like, I understand that it's like technically illegal to host this kind of thing because it's copyright infringement, but I am not mad that it is taken down. That's not like why I'm bummed as fuck that it's taken down. I really want to play it, and I really want to keep playing it, but the thing that infuriates me is that it's two kinds of people. One, the people who really like this server and aren't arguing for it correctly, and two, the type of people who are like, no, WoW today is better because back in the day it was grindy and it was all this, and nobody understands why WoW in Nostalgia, like in Vanilla and in Burning Crusade and in Wrath, was so good. And it all comes down to depth. The game itself has a fuck ton of depth when it comes to Vanilla, the Burning Crusade, and Wrath. Now, I'm going to say something. I didn't play Wrath because I didn't get to. It was really shitty, but to my understanding, everybody who played Wrath really fucking enjoyed Wrath. They really liked it. And at the end of Wrath, when they introduced Dungeon Finder is when shit got fucked. Like, and then in Kata, where Raid Finder was introduced, shit got fucked. So here's the thing. It all comes down to the depth of the game. And I saw a comment on a post on Reddit about another thing. It was like, what's your favorite retro games? And somebody was talking about MMOs. And this guy was like, look, I really liked Vanilla WoW, but I'm actually glad that we have retail WoW. How can you be glad that you have retail WoW when Vanilla WoW was objectively better with the depth that it has than retail WoW? And he's like, okay, look, at the time that Vanilla WoW was a thing, Vanilla WoW came out and it was like the new hip thing, and it had a lot of quality of life changes, and it had a lot of like streamlining things that other MMOs at the time didn't do, like EverQuest and like Guild Wars and whatnot. And that pisses me off because basically what you're taking this argument down to is saying that this game is only good because, you know, it didn't streamline or something like that. And that's not the argument. The argument is that it streamlined too much. It homogenized too much shit. And then it made everybody able to do everything, and it turned it into a fucking Facebook game. I get on and I fucking load into my fucking garrison, and I click on rocks, and I click on flowers, and then I click on Raid Finder and get into a group of 25 other fucking retards who are in Raid Finder and are like,
all right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go take a spank, and everybody's gonna get a chance at loot, and it's basically if you roll your face over the keyboard, it's really easy, and we're gonna win. I can't fucking stand it. I can't fucking stand it. And like it's everything. Everybody's entitled to every fucking thing in that game unless it's got Mythic attached to its name or it's got PvP attached to its name. And they fucked up Ashran. Ashran was a clown fiesta. That was garbage. And then like I defended WoD in the beginning. I said, you know what? PvE is great. The leveling process was awesome. It brought back a lot of the depth that this game needed. The story was decent. And then like you get to the end and it's like, all right, well, I got followers. And like the whole point of the followers thing is like, all right, we have to maximize the efficacy of, you know, I'm going to put my follower here, and these guys are going to go, and then they're going to get me the best percentage mission. I have a mod that does it for me. There's a mod that says, here's the best percent, and here's the biggest yield. Press a button. That's all it takes. Ugh. And then I have to go click my rocks, and then I have to go click my flowers. That's what it is. That's what this shit is.
All right, Tom.
What?
Serious question. Two questions. First off, did you hear that they announced the new Hearthstone MMO on the 1st? He just walked away when I said that. That was the greatest April Fool's joke, by the way.
God, that was really good, to be fair.
It was a pretty good April Fool's joke. They announced the Hearthstone the MMO, which is pretty funny to me. But no, the serious question is, how much would you pay if they gave you Classic?
Like a month?
Mm-hmm.
$15.
15?
I would pay $15 a month to play Classic WoW.
So
I would, and it's not actually. That goes into things. What were we gonna say?
So to get back to the initial thing we talked about, psychographics of players, you are a nostalgic player. You're a player that not only like nostalgicness is going to help there to some extent. Also, you're a player that likes grinding to some extent, and so some players like that as well. And it seems like those two things, those two factors are what drives some players to want to do this. So I don't understand why they would try to push out that demographic of players. So I think it's a good thing for them to create vanilla WoW servers.
Absolutely. I do as well.
It's just trade business. It's brilliant. It makes sense.
Let me tell you what pissed me the fuck off. And it references my entire argument and why this guy's a fucking asshole. People are looking at this game subjectively. They're comparing it subjectively as to say that, okay, people think that WoW wasn't so grindy, or people think that they're homogenizing things too much, but they didn't do, like, in the beginning, that's exactly what they did. And look at how it is now. Like, it's all quality of life changes. You're right. That's what they tried to do. But one of the things that they fucked up on is what this guy said that they did great. He said, and I quote, "Second, while WoW has added a number of improvements and changes dedicated to the making basic content take less time, that doesn't mean they have made it easier. While you're not wrong with that, causation correlation is skewed there.
Yeah.
They have made things, they have changed things, and just because they have streamlined it, that within itself hasn't made it easier. But the content is objectively easier. No, like, you cannot argue that the content is not easier. I when I was leveling a monk, I had BOAs. I only had the heirlooms that gave you XP. Now, that being said, I was pretty well geared, because who the fuck doesn't have heirlooms? Because streamlining. I don't have the parse anymore, so I can't prove this, but I was doing over 66% of the damage of my entire group by myself. I was a monk, and my healer was not healing. He was just AFK. I was also cute as tank. I soloed the dungeon. I had 3 people behind me who were going like this and just face keyboard bullshit. I was doing the dungeon.
Face keyboard.
If I had full heirlooms, I could have legitimately soloed that dungeon.
Well,
No
what's funny about it is I don't play WoW, but multiple people have said, "Hey, Brad, do you want to get that paladin skin for Hearthstone?" I'm just like, I don't really have a desire to. And they're like,
it takes 2 hours. Takes 2 hours.
Well, they were like, you could just be AFK and I'll do the dungeon. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's easy. Like they're like, I don't even need your help. Like, that's how easy it is. I was like, oh, okay, sure, why not? So, you know what's funny about that, Tom? You said that it got easier, but the second that you said that, the thing that got me out of MMOs in the first place, I like the grind. I like the concepts of it. I like the fact that you could drop loot in certain games and just like lose levels. I played a game called The Realm years ago. This was before WoW came out, and then after WoW came out even. In fact, the game's still up. But it's been it was the first non-mud based MMO, and it's still running.
WoW was the first MMO.
Lies.
Memes.
But anyway, so I used to play The Realm Online. I used to play Ultima Online. I used to play EverQuest a little bit. I played Lineage for a little while. So I played a lot of like MMOs before WoW. And then when WoW came out, I played a little bit in the beta, and I felt like it was too easy, which is crazy that I even felt like it was too easy then, because I felt like they dumbed it down. Because like for instance, in the Realm, when you died, well, they changed this in the Realm after time, but like when you died in the Realm, you lost 4% of all your overall experience on all your levels. 4%.
Oh my
and
God.
you dropped almost all your loot if you died in like a PvP.
Whoa.
So like it was like the brutalest of brutal. Yeah. And that was like how it started, right? MMOs started brutal. Like they were you could just get like there was no like trading system either in that game. Like you could just get robbed. Like it was just like it was a Wild West kind of circumstance. And I loved that. I love that about MMOs. And I got out of the MMO scene basically not too long after Blizzard, because it became easier. And now it seems like it's even easier to play WoW. And that seems like it's even like, I don't know, it's detracting hardcore gamers, it seems like, and it's becoming just a casual bear.
Well, that's the thing. And I think as soon as they started doing that, as soon as they strayed away from their core player base, which was the people who enjoy the depth and the people who enjoy the competitiveness, and the the hardcore amount of it, and like the parts that sound that are difficult, they started catering towards these casuals. They're like, hey, WoW, it's free to play now up to level 20. Do this. Here's Dungeon Finder. That's when they started losing their subscribers. Like, there's statistics. They capped out at like, what was it, like 12 million, 15 million, something like that. They capped out at the end of Wrath. They introduced Dungeon Finder. All the shit went to hell, and they just plummeted. They plummeted, and Kata came, they came in, and then went down. Kata came out, ooh, and then they went down. And then Panda came out, ooh, and then went down. and then they kind of stagnated and then went down. WoD came out, boom, way back up, whoa, way back down.
Mhm.
Like, that's how that happens. That's how this is happening. Because they cater to casuals. That's why they fucked up. And like, there are ways that you, and the problem, and one of the things I'm going to highlight too is that there is a middle ground here. There's a middle ground that we can reach, and it is absolutely fucking possible. But people have egos. People have egos, and like, and I don't think catering to casuals was the sole problem. I think it's the fact that all they did was wanted casuals. They were like, shit, we're missing a player base, but they completely forgot about their old player base.
Yeah,
like,
you can't please everybody, so you need to please. There's always going to be somebody pissed off.
Yeah.
And so what you need to do is you need to cater towards both sides of it, but not focus on one. Like, and that's like perfect. Like, shit. Like, I was just watching. It's that Mark Rosewater thing I was talking about earlier. He said that exact same thing. He's like, you can't make everybody happy. Like, everything that you do is not going to make everybody happy. But what you need to do is you need to find a way to give everybody an ability to be happy.
Yeah, I agree. And what a lot of this comes down to is with the there's a middle ground. This guy was saying, he was like, flowing into this. Okay, so he says, that doesn't mean they made it easier. They made it easier. They made it brain dead fucking easy. Most of the changes over the last decade have been geared towards making people spend less time on the gates to content so players could spend more time on the actual content. Actual content is not a string of words you put when it comes to a game. You make a game, that's actual content. If I have to sit through some part of a game, if I have to dredge through some part of a game mindlessly, that's not a game. That's stupid. The leveling process in WoW is bad. It's not fast so you can get to the end game. That's the actual content. That's not how you fix this. You don't inflate things. You give them meaning. If you want people to enjoy your game, make leveling fun. That's what was fun to me in WoW. Like in vanilla WoW, yes, there were parts of WoW. There were parts of it that were grindy. That is bad. Take out the grindy parts. Like, and some people like grinding, so let them go to Desolus, where you grind. That's why it's called Desolus, because you grind there. There's a couple quests, and you kill fucking mobs. Then there are other places where you do quests, and there are fun quests, and you do them because they're fun. The game is fun because it's a game. The point of the game is not grind through a part and get to end game. That's not vanilla. That's actually not vanilla. It's play the game because it's a fun fucking game. You play games fun because they're fun to play because they're games because you play games for fun.
I think the perfect way to wrap up this conversation is to say,
I'm not done.
To ask the question of, like, do the developers think that they should create a vanilla WoW? And I think the answer that they gave before was no, and the player base doesn't want it.
Yeah, they all
so they're completely out of tune.
Player base, like
they're completely out of tune.
And I'll link that sometime when I fucking find it. But they said some guy was at a convention or some shit. Might have been BlizzCon, I don't know. But they were talking about WoD, and the guy asked, "Are you gonna? Do you ever have plans for making servers that are tailored towards the older patches? Like, do you want to make private servers?" Basically, was what he was saying, like vanilla TBZ wrap. And the guy said, and I quote, "No, and you may think that you want it. You may think no. What he said is legitimate. Like I'm quoting him. You may think that you want that kind of server, but you don't."
Yeah. That's just like spitting in the face of the player.
Fuck is wrong. How have you been this wrong for so long? This was recent. This was at like a Warlords of Draenor thing. People have been doing private servers for fucking ever. And then you look at fucking Nostalrius, and it had 800,000 accounts made and 150,000 active accounts. And the average I've seen of people on the PvP server is around 8,500 people on just on the PvP server. The average I've seen on the PvE server is 2,000. That's just the average. Like that's not counting when the servers peaked and when people are raiding and when people are doing battlegrounds on the weekends at night when shit gets up to like 12,300 players. We don't want this. We don't want 12,000 people don't want this game. Are you fucking serious? And to put that into perspective, looking at the old servers capped out, the like Blizzard run servers capped out at 2,500 players. That's doing my math, and I'm bad at math. That's 6 servers. That's 6 servers worth of people. Full servers. We had more than full servers because we didn't want the lag and we didn't want the heavy population. Oh my God, you're wrong. Fuck off. Like, what the shit, man?
All right, Tom. I'm afraid you're gonna pass out if you keep going. You're like completely red.
No,
you're like
like,
face is completely red right now.
There's actually more to talk about. Like this guy. Okay, like this guy goes on to talk
he
about.
Takes a breath. It's like and continue.
This guy. Okay, it says leveling is leveling is nothing but a time gate before you can actually start playing the game. That's a problem.
That's
like
true.
that within
That's
itself is a problem. Like that like. Okay, saying that leveling is a time gate, that is within itself the problem. Don't minimize the problem. Fucking fix it. Get off your ass, grow a pair, and fix it. And then he says, it's why you get to just skip it now. And then he says, other gates include attunements, rep grind, and long gearing processes. Attunements were awful. Seriously, who enjoyed those?
Okay. All right, so did you enjoy attunements? I hated attunements.
I thought that attunements were cool.
It's a cool idea.
Shitty.
Yeah.
Rep grinds were shitty. And here's the thing. I think that as a concept is great, but just removing them from the game is not the answer.
Yeah.
This is a core piece of depth. This is something that's great. It builds up to it shows that you as your character that you have bonded with for 60 fucking levels. You are this character. You are proving yourself to the World of Warcraft that you can go in there and kill Onyxia. You can go in to Molten Core and slay Ragnaros. Like, this is important things. It's the accomplishment. And yes, there are the ways they did it were bad, but the fact of the ways they did it were poor, but the concept itself is a good thing. This is the middle ground. This is the deal where you need to you can fix this and keep the depth in the game. The depth makes the game. The depth is what makes the game fun. And then taking it out just takes out depth. You're taking out fun. If you look at the stats today. You have your primary stats of stamina and damage. Doesn't matter what you are. I'm a mage. All right, you're intellect, but your damage, like stamina, health, and my damage stat. And then I have other stats. Yes, I understand there are specs that have like certain abilities that scale better with better stats, whatever. But it's still stamina and it's still damage. In the previous patches of WoW, you could be like I could be a shaman and I could get all stats and it would be fine. Like the big joke was that every piece of gear was hunter gear. Because they used all the stats.
Yeah.
Because they loved strength because they could get in combat melee and do combat in melee. They loved agility because, who doesn't love agility when you can, be a ranged person? Like that was the main stat for them was agility. And then they loved intellect because, or intelligence.
And intellect, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. They loved that because that gave them mana and they
Right.
gave them spell crit, whatever. And don't forget the weapon skill. It increased your weapon skill faster. Spirit was good because it increased your health regen and your mana regen. And for mana loving classes, that was great. That was still good to have. And they love stamina because stamina is health. And then there were other stats that like they had other stats that were just like good on things. Like you don't get extra spell damage. The only damage buffs you get is strength, and that's for your attack power. Or if you're a rogue, you get agility, and that also increases your attack power, but just for rogues. That's cool because that's another level of depth. And then agility also only affects ranged damage. It's the only thing that affects ranged damage. But if you wanted to be a caster and you wanted to do like casting, like increase your cast spells and whatever, what you have to fucking do is you have to go get this gear that says increases the damage dealt by your spells by 7. That's a fucking big deal. 7 damage is good. 7 damage means things, like leveling wise. And then you get more pieces of gear that add up. Like I have an extra like 120 something healing or 120 something damage or whatever. And they even broke it down further where it was like, I am a frost mage, so I want all frost gear. Not just mage gear, I want frost gear. So I want enchants and stuff and like potions and say, I get plus 50 damage to my frost spells. That's fucking cool. That's so fucking cool. And like frost, like you couldn't cast a fireball at a fire elemental because they're made of fire. It's like throwing a pillow at a person. Like I am made of pillowy things. You're throwing a pillow at me. Why did you do that? I don't understand. So if I cast a fireball at something made of fire, he's gonna say, "Why did you?" Okay, that makes sense. Now I can be a fire mage. I can be a frost mage, or I can be an arcane mage. They all do damage. It all doesn't fucking matter. Like some things are better for PvP because of this one specific thing. Some things are better for single target damage because that's what they do. Some things are better for AoE damage. But like seriously, you're gonna homogenize the fucking specs down to that, and then they took away fucking skill trees. I love skill trees because that was the first thing that was like, all right, you're gonna build your character out. Now, like, yeah, there were preset builds and whatever, like, but I'm playing right now on Nostalrius. I'm playing with my friend Harry, and he is a warrior, and he's leveling his protection. You don't do that. But I'm a priest, and I'm leveling his disc. You don't do that. But we're making it work. We're making it work, and we just like solo camps of like 8 mobs because it's so fucking cool. And like I have to like make up my own. I have my own rotation. Like he goes in, like I give him shield. I give him I don't give him renew. I give him shield. He runs in and does his thing. I Shadow Word Death, Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Word Pain, and then I go back to the original thing, and then I Holy Fire, and then I Mind Blast, and like that's the thing. And then I wand for the rest of them because I took the talent that says I get extra talent damage. Like I mean I get extra wand damage, and like it's so great because I maximized like we can just go like we killed this pack, go to the next pack. I don't have downtime. I barely ever have downtime. And like that's just because that's the way it works and that's the way we built it. And like it's fun. And doing this is so fucking fun. And then I go into fucking like all this other shit and then
Oh yeah? Don't cry. It'll be okay.
I'm gonna cry.
I think you might.
I'm gonna cry, actually.
No more ums. I think you've ranted, dude. You've out-wowed me.
I
All I have
have
to say is wow.
God damn it. God damn
I mean,
it.
like, yeah.
It's just that my problem, like the thing that makes me angry is that nobody is actually understanding that it's not just about nostalgia. It's not just about like we want to go like remember the good days or whatever. Like, yeah, that's part of it. That's definitely part of it. But the game itself was better. The depth made the game.
Yeah,
now
for sure.
there's no depth to the game, and you've said, oh well, this part is tedious, so let's just shorten it. Let's just make it easier.
Well, okay,
Which
so
are
I
two
played
separate things, but
I played the Realm. I played the Realm for 10 years, right? And the game consistently got worse after version 3 came out. So, which is kind of like where WoW would be right now. So, like, it's funny because you're mentioning all this, and it's kind of like hearkening back to my feelings 10 years, 15 years. How long would that have been? 2005. So 10 years ago would have been 10 years ago when I had these same feelings about the Realm, and I was bitching about it. But like it's just like it sucks because they want to try new things because they want to introduce new content. Like that's a good thing, right? New content's a good thing. But like the downside is that it's generally pushing people away from what they're comfortable with, because you like the other thing because you become comfortable with it, as well as like from a psychological standpoint, you enjoy it,
right?
Because it's what you like. It's the kind of like content that you grew up with in a sense. So that's the nostalgia standpoint of it. But at the same time, like you got to detract yourself from the game. The game, they'll never, the problem is that they'll never fix it anymore. Like they'll continue on this path because this path is is the slow death rather than the potential long or quick death. They're not willing to take a risk because it's still a cash cow.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's that and on top of the response we've gotten from Blizzard, it's been disgusting. Like it's very hard to.
Yeah, I don't play the game, and when that one comment where the designer's like no, and if the player base thinks they want it, they're wrong. Like that just was like shocking to me. Yeah. When you showed me that video, I was like, that is the most
especially when it's not just a niche group
heard anybody say.
Yeah, especially when it's not just a niche group of people. Like if it was 1,000 people saying that, or like 10,000 people saying that, then yeah, maybe. It's not, and it's been a long time.
Yeah,
that's a big fucking chunk of at this point. I mean, that's a percentage of your player base in retail. That goes to show something, because the percentage of your player base in retail that this like compared to a big MMO, like 100,000 people is usually not much, but to say that it is a percentage now goes to show that your game is shit and it's flushing down the toilet really goddamn quick.
Well, and the thing is like, God, it's gonna degrade. Like the game's gonna degrade at this point. Like that's just a given, right? Like it's a game that's been out this long will always degrade as time goes on. It's just you can't ever. Its peak is come and gone, right? That will always be true. But the thing is like if you really want to fix it, or maybe not fix it, if you want to put a Band-Aid on it, you can cater to certain people to try and create a community through vanilla. You can also create more content that way for players because they're now able to play multiple versions of WoW. And like if you're creating a subscription on top of the normal subscription, you're making more money. You know, it's as simple as that. Like at the end of the day, it's the profit margins. And if they somehow assessed it and said 100,000 people playing this game, let's say 50% of them pay. So we have 50,000 people now playing this game. Is it going to cost us more to maintain the servers, maintain the system, and not throw any more content? Just literally let it roll through. You know, like re-release it even, just like Nostalrius was trying to. Like you just just re-release the old content, redo it. Just that's all you have to do. If you're trying to do that exact same thing, the exact same template, the real question is it going to be profitable? And I think at 50,000 people, it's almost unquestionable that it's going to be profitable. Now, is it going to be the most lucrative thing that they have? Probably not.
No,
but why not just put one person as the team? You don't need a team of people to manage that. You need one person. That's their job. Hire one person on and make an extra $50,000 to $1 million a year. You know, like I don't know how much that's going to be, but like it could scale up to $1 million. It could be 50,000. They might not make much, but they'll at least be able to break even at the very worst.
Honestly, here's the deal. I would legitimately pay $15 a month to play this again, and that's because I did it then. I'll do it now because I love the game. Like the game is great, and yes, it's shitty that I have to pay that money again. Like it's whatever, and it's easier for me to say that now because I have a job and I have the money to spend on it. But it's like it's accessible this way. If people see that Blizzard is okay with this, people are going to turn their minds. They're going to change their minds, and they're going to turn around and they're going to say, well, you know what? Maybe this is an okay idea. If Blizzard says it's okay, all the people who are just defending Blizzard are just going to be like, oh, well, whatever, and just move on.
I mean, I honestly, to defend Blizzard, to play devil's advocate, don't like from their perspective, I wonder if their concept is like, hey, we might be detracting viewers to our new content.
That's their only argument. That's exactly their argument, and that's their only argument. And
that's not a bad argument though. But I can see them saying. But
that should say something about their game. Like that should say, okay, well, if your new content is shittier than your old content, then fucking make good content.
Or just sell your old content. Like, why? I don't understand why you can't. I mean, that's like Nintendo does the same thing. They don't re-release games very often, and a lot of times they don't like make money on content that they should make money on. But like, let's talk about like original Mario Brothers. They've reprinted that game so many times, and it's still a cash cow. Like they still make I don't know how much money they make on their like e-store, but they make a ton of money on a game from the 1980s. Use your legacy content to make more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I agree.
Yep. Can we get off this topic now?
No.
I feel like you're going to go on the same topic.
I will, like, I
feel like it's gonna
legitimately
be.
want to. I legitimately want to sit down and make a video and post it on
Do it.
Reddit and
You
get
should,
fucking
yeah.
flamed. And I want to because not enough people are actually saying what fucking matters. And like, I think this matter. Like, I think like the fact that I'm so angry should say something. And there are other people like me who have the very similar mindset, but don't have the words to say it or don't have the time to sit down and bitch about it on a podcast. Like, I understand that there were things that were hard to get to, like, and we were talking about Naxxramas a while ago, and everybody likes to talk about Naxxramas because that was insane. Like 1% maybe of the population got to touch Naxxramas. Like, that's crazy. That's kind of shitty that only 1% got to see that content, you know? But
Yeah.
like, I think there should be, like, why is it bad that we allow good, like, why is it bad that we congratulate players by giving good things? Like, you should be rewarded for what?
No, I got you.
Did I die?
I lost you. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought your rant was so intense that like you died.
Oh, did my internet go out?
You're good.
No, your rant was so intense that you blew up my internet.
Oh shit. Anyways, it's just like Naxxramas is a key reason of where we can, another key reason where we can middle ground on things. Like, yes, we should allow for players to be able to see this kind of content, but we shouldn't gate it to everybody. And like, I like the idea of having like heroics and shit, like heroic versions of things. Like, all right, you have the normal raid. You have to get people together for the raid. Make it so that like the people who care about raiding will get to, get to the point where like, oh shit, I gotta get geared for Nax. Like, it's possible to do it. You don't have to grind a gajillion days. You don't have to put in your life's work to do that. But if you want to do that, there's heroic. That's for you. Like,
Yeah.
you can
right.
streamline things to a point, but don't streamline it for everybody. Because when you streamline things for everybody, when you homogenize things and make it everybody can do it, you inflate it. When you inflate things, you decrease the rarity. When you decrease the rarity, you decrease the depth. And when you decrease the depth, you decrease the fun.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So
I think we're done with the topic.
fuck it.
I can't stand talking about it anymore.
I'm
I don't like it.
I'm pissed. Like, angry as fuck.
No, I thought that was I thought that was interesting. I gotta be honest. I agree with most of it. I don't play enough WoW right now because I'm one of those folks right now in life that I come back to WoW once an expansion comes out. Like, I played since vanilla, but
that's what I normally do.
Yeah, my account's lapsed, since then, just depending. Like, I played a lot of the first 2-3 expansions, and then just kind of as they came out, I didn't play a lot of Panda, but everything else I played quite a bit in. Yeah, just do it. Just do it. Make a service.
Do it.
All right. Is that crew rants for this week?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we brought it back.
Brought it back.
Brad, you got
Crew
this.
rants.
Brad, you got
All
this.
right.
My blood pressure is decreasing. I
Your
haven't
face
had
is
any
still super
food.
red though.
I know. Well, it's
You
also
should totally
hot
make
as
a video
fuck.
of this because your face was like bloodshot red for a while. You would get millions of views on YouTube with that.
I would like to. It would be
Going
pretty cool.
viral.
All right. Bradford Lee.
Well, to end this particular podcast today, I would like to talk about a card that is not near and dear to my heart in any way, shape, or form. I would like to rant about Unstable Portal. The current Tavern Brawl is Unstable Portal, if you did not know. And since we've been talking about the psychographics that Mark Rosewater discussed in gaming, we talked about this earlier. We talked about Timmy. I'll quickly run through them again. We got Timmy, which are the guys who are just doing it for the lulz. They're playing the game for the lulz. They want to do cool things because they're like, this is so cool. This is awesome. Oh my God. Like eSportal. Whoa, cool. It's funny. They like if they do it for the lulz. Then you have people who are like Johnnies who play the game because, well, they love huge monsters. They like doing big things because they like, check out this 30-30. It's so freaking cool. They like that. Then you have people like Spikes who, they're trying to prove something. They're trying to win the game. They want They want to do whatever they can to win, right? So every person has a different demographic, and so each card in the game of Hearthstone is going to be designed with different people's intentions in mind. However, Unstable Portal, a card that's rotating out, thank fucking God that card's rotating out, does two things. It has many issues, right? It tries to cater to multiple people. It tries to cater to the fan. So like that's another kind of like demographic. You could say that the fan is kind of like the Timmy to some extent. Like a fanboy could be a Timmy, right? Someone who sits there and watches an esports of Hearthstone might be a Timmy because they like the experience that they're gaining from being a fan of the game. And when they watch ePortal or eSportal get cast, Unstable Portal, they're like, oh my God, esports, this is amazing. He got Leroy Jenkins and he won the game. Like that's a fun thing for the fan play or the fan, right? But the downside to it is that from the Timmy standpoint, sometimes you're going to get target dummy. And so if you get an O2, a target dummy, that's not a Timmy card at that point, right? It's not fun for the Timmy in a sense. Like that's high variance. Now that could be fun for the Timmy because they might be cheering for the other person if they're the fan. But then let's get to like the middle ground. Let's say you just get a 2/3 for 2, right? It's not super fun. It's not super variant. It's just kind of like, oh, whatever. You got a 2/3, whatever. Cool. You can cast a 2/3. But the Timmy player wants that high variance play. They want that amazing thing. So then we go on to where does Unstable Portal actually fit into this game, right? Where does it fit in? Well, when it fits in Tempo Mage. It fits as a spike card. So this random card that's designed with the Timmy in mind, right, is actually a spike card, a card that the people that want to win the game have to play. So it's a card that's designed with Timmy in mind, but Spike has to play it, which is just terrible game design, in my opinion. So the real question is, who is this card designed for? It's designed maybe for Timmy, but Spike plays it. So if Spike's the one playing it and Timmy's the one who wants it, like how is that beneficial to the other person? So that being said, we can make the conclusion that it is not designed to please any specific psychographic within the examples of psychographics within the game. So no one is fully satisfied with the card. Everybody has a negative and positive connotation to it. The positive for the Spike being it's a good card. The negative for the Spike being it's fucking loaded with RNG. The positive for the Timmy is, oh my God, Leroy Jenkins, he won the game because it's like PogChamp. But the negative is target dummy. This was stupid. I didn't enjoy watching this anymore. So what I'm basically trying to say from this particular rant, and I tried to articulate it as easily as possible because I think it's an important factor and it needs to be approached as we move forward and we develop this game of Hearthstone and becomes better and as designers create more, is that we should not be designing cards with this level of variance and that doesn't necessarily approach the goals and ambitions of a specific player base in the game. Boom. So thank God, fuck you, Unstable Portal. Get the fuck out of my game.
I do want to say one thing. I think the reason that Unstable Portal is played, the only reason it's actually played is because it makes the creature 3 less, and you only have to pay 2 mana for Unstable Portal. So, yes. Yeah, the amount of RNG is fucking ridiculous, but you also
but it's a good card.
Yeah, it's a good card with that. So, yes. But yeah,
and it's a spell. It's a creature as a spell.
Yeah,
terrible design.
RNG's diseases. Flame Waker. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's effectively the wild growth that Mage gets. Not as good as wild growth, but it's like the same kind of idea. It wild growths a creature cheaper. Yeah. So screw it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Die. Thank God it's in freaking Tavern Brawl and nowhere else. Even then, it's stupid. Who even likes that Tavern Brawl? Like, I like it one time, and then I'm just like, this is stupid. You guys have already done this 3 times now.
That's the one they do for filler. It's just like, oh, we don't got nothing. Do that one. Everybody likes it. It's RNG. It's fun.
Is it really fun, though? I mean, but to the casual player, it might be fun to have a million Unstable Portals because it's funny. So, like, that's where the card's good design is. It's a great Tavern Brawl card. But don't give it in freaking constructed. Don't make that card for that. All right. I'm done. I don't want to keep ranting.
Well, is that our rant for this week? Are we done?
I'm done. I'm done talking about Unstable Portal. I'm ready to get the fuck out of Standard.
I'm never done.
Now that's I totally agree with that. I'm done. Let's just get to standard. Blizzard, just
Standard.
drop it. Just drop it. Drop the release.
Like it's
Blizzard, get your
hot.
shit together.
Yeah. All right.
Blizzard, get your shit together. Get it like up in a bag and like take all that shit in the bag, get it together, and then like take it to a shit museum or something. I don't care. Just like get it together, Summer. That was a quote from Rick and Morty.
I still haven't seen that yet. I need to.
God fucking watch is so good. So good.
All right.
Literally the best show I've ever seen in my life.
Well,
Forever.
that, my friends, is episode 62 of the Death Rattle Crew. Don't forget you can follow us at www.deathrattlecrew.com on Twitter, YouTube, MySpace. No, we're not on MySpace. I'm kidding. Places that you can find us, you'll find us. Is basically what I'm saying. We stream the show live every Wednesday at 7-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bradford Lee, where can people find you?
As always, twitch.tv/Bradfordly.
All right. And with that, we will see you next week.
Australia.
You can find Tom on MySpace.
Tom, do you still have a MySpace,
Founded
Tom?
it.
No.